Lily even there? Is there a dog? Is he alone? Is he at the airport? Is he on a fucking bus? Is he on the plane? Is there a clicking noise? There's probably a clicking noise. Is this a clip show? I don't know if it's a clip show. It's a fucking show. Just listen, goddammit.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Folks, I know what you're doing right now. You're playing this in your earbuds. I'm coming to you right now. I'm plugged into your iPod vagina somewhere in your car or somewhere else fancy. That's right. You listen to me in a fancy place, don't you? Well, I can tell you I'm not broadcasting from fancy place. I'm broadcasting from my apartment that has been my apartment for, these many years. It was my apartment when I started this podcast. It'll probably be my apartment when I end this podcast with a gunshot. And I fucking, I'm not getting my deposit back anyway, so why not put blood and brain matter all over the goddamn walls? What do you say, right? And if I shoot myself, it's got to be in the head, correct? I can't. What am I? You know, maybe I go the other route. Maybe I shoot myself in the femoral artery. How weird would that be? Like if I just fucking, because they, then you just bleed out, obviously. But maybe a shotgun. If you shotgun out your thigh and then you just lay there and bleed, right? I mean, if you bleed out, that can't be painful. I mean, I guess getting shot in the thigh would be painful. Hey, look, if you blow your thigh open with a fucking shotgun, that's probably going to be painful. I'm going to assume, though, that the rest of it, the bleeding out, you can just close your eyes and sleep it off, man, and then wake up in the kingdom of wherever you go. I don't know where you go. Of course, if you're shooting yourself in the thigh, don't you get doomed to hell for all eternity? Is there a hell? Is there a heaven, folks? Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. It is like 1:25 in the morning, folks, on Wednesday night. This show's supposed to be up already. It's supposed to be way up. I mean, so up. The week got away from me a little bit because I had stuff to do running around. And the point is, I think this week we're bringing you something from the archives. We're bringing you a classic show. Classic Mike. That's what I like to call it. No, I don't. I like to call it lazy. I'm pissed at my fucking self, but I waited this week to see what Lily's schedule was going to be because, I like recording with Lily. I just do. And then it turned out that she was thinking about possibly doing it Tuesday, and then she was sick, and then she was out running around, and she wasn't able to see me yesterday. And so then today's Wednesday, and I thought, well, maybe she can see me. And then she let me know about halfway through the day that she was not going to be available to record. And what I should have done at that point was sat down myself and just busted out a fucking show. But I didn't. Because I had running around and stuff to do today, and I had work. I went to an Uber meeting today. How sad is that, folks? An Uber meeting. And I got to tell you, man, just fucking going to that thing, it just drove home every terrible thing that I feel about doing this, because it was just... Here's the deal. They put out a special thing. They're doing a special thing in LA this weekend for... They have a fucking thing called Uber Eats. Uber's not happy just delivering human beings, folks. Now they want to try to deliver food. And look, we all know, hey, if there's anything I can deliver, it's food, right? I thought I'd changed my ways. In my mind, I was like, you know what? If I'm delivering meat from now on, it better be breathing. But not with Uber Eats, which I find out is a thing. But this weekend, they sent out an email, and they're like, hey, if you guys want to do Uber Eats from 11:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can sign up, but you've got to RSVP. Here's the fucking thing. It's so stupid. I guess because they have to give you an app for your phone or a new way to make you part of the Uber Eats army. Because why the fuck wouldn't they just say, just do it? Right? Just grab 20 fucking dudes or 40 dudes or 100 dudes, because there's a fucking billion Uber dudes here in California. So why don't they just grab some guys and go, hey, here's how it goes? But they make it a fucking lottery. You know what I mean? They got to pit everybody against one another. And that's what we all are anyway. Out there in the street, man, there's no camaraderie. I'm not like, yay, look, there's an Uber driver. I'm like, fuck that dude with the black U in his window. That dude's stealing money from me, motherfucker. And that's part of the service economy, is you fostered this attitude where everybody's kind of against one another. You know what I mean? There's no, like, the union's different. Like, yeah, if you have a union, then you're all together in this. You roll up your sleeves, and then you and Sylvester Stallone go and punch some fucking Teamsters in the face. Or no, you don't. You're Teamsters. You punch other dudes in the face. You punch cops in the face. You get an axe handle and you go to work. But service economy, fuck that, man. Uber guys are not my brethren. And that was just driven home really, really strongly this morning. And yes, morning. By the way, that's the thing, is the Uber Eats deal. They're like, hey, man, you got to drive from 11:30 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. 3 nights this week. And they guarantee you a certain amount of money. And you know, Uber's a crapshoot. I mean, you might make money, you might not make money. It's always that sort of thing. Depends on the hours you work. And I know people who work in other parts of the country who make really good money in short hours, but that's because there's not every other fucking person in the world who's trying to do it. And I got to tell you, in Los Angeles, it is just chock full of people doing it, man. So they have this meeting. They're like, you got to come Wednesday or Thursday to orientation, and you have to come at 9 in the morning in fucking Westwood, which is by UCLA. It's like 12 miles from me, but in the fucking morning to get there by 9 a.m., I gotta be out the door by 7:45, 8 o'clock, because it's just fucking death in the morning for traffic. And it even says in the email, it says doors will close promptly at 9:10, because they know everybody will just come fucking rolling in. You know why? Because we're not really employees. If you're not employees, you make your own fucking hours. Well, then you get used to making that fucking schedule for yourself. When someone says, hey, you got to be somewhere at 9 a.m., you laugh at them. Sure I do. 9 o'clock a.m., what's that? Unless you're one of those psychos who's up driving Uber people early, which they try to do. That's the thing that kills me about Ubers. They try so desperately to wring every last dime out of you. You know, look, I don't beef. Like, you know, out here, there's like a class action lawsuit, and there's all these people bitching, and they're complaining because Uber doesn't pay for their gas, or Uber doesn't pay for their fucking car insurance, or, you know, all these people and so now they're going to sue. They're going to fucking sue Uber. And again, I'm a union dude. All right, I'm all for the unions. I say go for it. If you've got a union that's behind you and backing you, then by all means do it. And if you want to try to unionize Uber drivers, you know what? Then I guess pass out some pamphlets and have Jimmy Hoffa and Danny DeVito come to you, and you know, they make sure that I don't have to have a cigarette that burns all the way down to my fingers to keep me awake as I drive Uber shifts at 3:30 in the fucking morning. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe me and my brothers dress up in old-timey gear and we go, fuck you, fruit cocktail. Maybe that's what happens when you try to organize a union for us at Uber. But until then, you know, you're an Uber driver at their luxury and kind of at your choosing. You know, you've decided to be this person because you want to make your own hours. That's the sacrifice you've made because you want to make your own hours and do your own thing. Then you can't tell Uber to fix your car, and you can't tell Uber to give you fucking gas money, at least in my opinion. I mean, you know, if you want to do it that way, that's cool. But you know what you do? Get a fucking job. If you want to be protected by your employer, get a job and then join a fucking union, and maybe then somebody will go to bat for you. But Uber is just concerned with putting an army on the fucking streets so they can take every last dime. That's it. That's why I'm saying there's no camaraderie. There's none of us who are like, yay, wee, Uber. And again, that notion, I have the hiccups. I cannot believe I have the hiccups. I'm trying to avoid them as I talk to you, but they may come up. And I should tell you this too, at 1:30 in the morning, I'm not stopping. I'm absolutely not stopping. I'm not editing. This is going to be a one-take Jake, man. I'm just going to roll through. Even if I fuck up, you're going to hear it because it's, and so... like I said, I was going to put up an older show, but it all depends on how much fucking talking I do. If I talk, you know, if I throw out 45 minutes for you, who knows? Maybe I'll just leave that as a show. But I also don't even know what the fucking show is going to be. You're looking at the artwork. Look at the artwork. See that? I texted David, and I'm like, dude, I don't think, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a show. I don't know if I'm going to have time. And I'll explain to you in a little bit why I didn't have time. And he's like, well, then what are we doing? Do I have the night off? And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want the night off, you can. Because I have to feel terrible. I mean, I don't want to fucking make a guy do something if he doesn't want to do it. But I'm just like, no, if there's a way we can come up with just an image that shows something conveying, you know, what it's a grab bag. It's you know, it could be anything. And he's like, well, what was that thing you did with a gumball machine when you were a kid? And I go, oh, the guess what machine? He goes, yeah. And I said, all right. And here's my favorite part. He goes, well, sorry. Yawning. I won't be editing. I apologize. He goes, great. We'll find some gumball machine images and send them over, and then I'll get on it. And I wanted to go, you're going to be 50 next year. You don't remember what a fucking gumball machine looks like? Because then I said to him, I go, all right. And so I sent him like 5 pictures of gumball machines, and it took me a while to find exactly what Guess What was. Guess What was it was one of those, you ever go see, and there's like 6 fucking gumball machines all smashed together? They're square. They're not round. And one of the machines said, guess what? It was like you couldn't see inside of it and it had a fucking placard. And so I said, yeah, so here's this. And I sent it to him and he goes, yeah. He goes, but the more iconic imagery is the round gumball machine. Yeah, but you wanted to know what it looked like. Why, dude, what the fuck? Why are we in this argument? And we're having an argument. I'm not even sure if I'm doing a show and we're having an argument. Which it wasn't really an argument. We're just texting back and forth. But then so then I sent him a few pictures, and he's just like, well, dude, how about, I'm going to do this. Like, I actually really like the idea of it. Like, Little Schmitty putting a quarter in there. He's like, done. So that's what you're saying. You're looking at the artwork now and you're saying to yourself, well, fuck, I don't know what this is about. That's what it's about. It's about, guess what? Because we really didn't know what the fuck it was going to be. I mean, I might wind up talking here for however amount of time or whatever. And this won't count against your yearly purchases, folks, which is so stupid to say. Show's free. You know what I mean? So what the fuck? I'm the one who puts all this pressure on myself to go out and throw out this long fucking show. And maybe, like I said, I still might put an older version, an old show in here. It all depends. Fuck yawning. Sorry. It's fucking 1:30. So you know, they have and I've been up since fucking, as you can tell, I've been up since 7:15 to go to this fucking meeting. So I RSVP'd and, you know, I show up and I get there at like right at 9. So I've got the 10-minute grace period before they close the fucking door and lock it. I walk in and there's gotta be 70 guys in there, guys and women. And just, it was like walking into Gen Pop. I mean, just the fucking dregs of humanity. That's who's driving for Uber. Me and the dregs of humanity, because it's all people. You know, they all want something for nothing. That's the whole deal. And I'll tell you what, I've taken Uber a few times, and if any of these dudes came to pick me up, I'd be scared. I'd be furious. It was like a bunch of taxi dudes. Like, it was the guys with really heavy accents. It was guys with fucking, you know, every question about how they could make every dime. And look, I'm a mercenary too, but they weren't listening. Then the woman came out and she even said, hey, look, I'm going to answer questions at the end, so hold your questions. And she would start talking, and immediately some guy would put his hand up in the air. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? What part of hold your questions don't you understand? And, you know, I do Uber because I have to. And I do Uber because I can make my own schedule. And I do Uber because, you know what, that's what I have in front of me at this point. But, you know, I carry that fucking, oh, Christ, why am I doing this around my neck? But then when I go to things like this in my head, I'm like, Jesus Christ, why? You're better than this. You're better than them. You're better than these fucking dudes, right? I mean, you know, Uber, your only qualification is you know how to fucking drive and you got a car. So and you're breathing. I think breathing. I don't know. It seemed like the 70 dudes there today were breathing. I hope. I don't know. I know they were asking dumb fucking questions. And they would raise their hands, and then there was one, you know, there's always that fucking girly swat in the audience who's just like, hey, man, I got the answers. So he started to answer people's questions because he got it. Look, if you get it, you get it. But shut the fuck up. Don't fucking jump in and try to answer the questions. That's what Asian woman in the front of the room is for. And she was just getting sick and tired of it. And she also kind of made fun of people. Like some guy, you know, and granted, because guys aren't listening. So one guy asked a question. It was the third time it had been asked. And finally she looks at the audience. She goes, hey, does anyone want to tell him exactly what the answer to that is? And I wanted to go, well, no, fuck you, man. I mean, I don't know why you got to turn everybody against this fucking guy. Yeah, we're all trying to get the fuck out of here. But you're the ones who are implementing this fucking program. How about if you mimeograph out some sheets and fucking hand them out? Type out the fucking rules instead of just talking and having a slide presentation and counting on all these. I mean, dude, these dumb fucks have a job because they have an app on their phone. You can't expect them to be fucking retaining knowledge. But I sat there just going, oh, I'm part of these dudes. Like, I'm lumped in with them. That's it. That's who I am. We're one big Uber conglomerate. That's who we are. We're assembled into one Uber Voltron, and we just drive America around where they hold us in contempt. And that's like, ah, fuck. And I'm so freaked out about it, man, because like I started driving for Uber, and then last week, I didn't drive last week. I was out of town, but 2 weeks ago I drove. I only drove like 20 hours or 25 hours, and I made a certain amount of money, whatever. But it certainly wasn't the money that I thought I was going to make. And I'll get to that in just a second. But I drove, and at the end of the week, they give you this summary of your thing, and you can rate people on fucking, you know, that on Uber. This happened. I got to tell you this story. I'm driving an Uber dude, and I pick him up. He wants to be picked up in downtown Los Angeles. I get him at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's drunk. I mean, this dude he's been in a bar drinking. He gets in my car, and he just smells pickled. I mean, and you're just like, oh, drunk at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, fantastic. So then I turn on the fucking phone, the app. Turns out he's going to fucking LAX. And from downtown Los Angeles, which I'm happy with, because again, I get the money, so I'm thrilled. But it's like, all right, well, you're drinking your day away to get on a fucking plane. So we drive. And as I'm making my way through, you know, the traffic, and finally he says, "Hey man, how, you know, what's going on?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, are we almost there?" And I said, "Well, it's, you know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. I mean, you know, we're trying, we're efforting." And he goes, oh, I'm going to miss my flight. I said, oh, well, I'm sorry about that. What time's your flight? He goes, well, when I called for the Uber, it said that the ride to the airport was 30 minutes. And we've been in the car here for like 40, 45. And I went, well, yeah, I mean, traffic on a Friday is ridiculous and it changes all the time. He goes, yeah, I wish they wouldn't have done that because, I mean, I'm going to miss my... I said, well, what time's the flight? He goes, well, it's boarding now. Boarding now. Boarding now. Dude, you got to be shitting me. It's boarding now. I just picked you up in a bar in Los Angeles at like 2:10, and now it's 3 o'clock and your plane is boarding? What time is your fucking flight? Why are you waiting till 50 minutes before your goddamn flight to get into a goddamn cab and go to the fucking airport? What is wrong with you, dude? So I said, man, I'm sorry. I'm hustling. But, I mean, as you can see, it's going to be pretty crazy. So then you actually get into LAX. That's the thing. All the way to LAX, there's traffic. But when you get into LAX, fuck it. It's a standstill, man, because everybody is there and they're dropping people off. So he happens to be going to Southwest, which is fine. It's the first terminal. We pull over, and he goes, oh, man, I'm not going to be able to check my bags. And I said, all right, well, thanks. Like, because I'm done, man. I don't have to worry about a fucking tip or any of that nonsense with Uber. You just drop fucking people off. And he says, hey, I can't check my bags. Can I ask you a favor? I said, what? He goes, if I give you something, will you mail it to me? And, I mean, this just has blinking neon fucking drug dog setup on it, doesn't it? Right? I'm going to wind up like fucking Tim Roth in Reservoir Dogs in a men's room carrying a fucking package and a German Shepherd barking his fucking ass off at me in slow motion. I mean, I can't believe somebody would even ask me. I went, dude, I don't, that's not my thing. And he goes, well, no, it'll be easy. I'll give you money and then you just send it to me tomorrow because I can't check my bag. I said, dude, look, I go, I don't know what kind of drugs you have. I can't send. And he goes, no, it's not that. I said, what is it? He goes, it's mustard. I said, what do you mean? He goes, like mustard for a sandwich. And he takes his bag and he pulls it out. And he's got a brown paper bag and he pulls out 2 jars of mustard. And he says, here. He goes, I'll just give these to you and then I'll give you my address. And you can just send them to me, tonight or tomorrow whenever you get finished driving. And look, I try to be a nice guy, but it still seemed kind of funky. And I just said, dude, I don't know. And he goes, here. And he hands me $40. And look, I don't know what the going rate is for shipping mustard, but I know it isn't $40. And at this point, I kind of need some cash. And he handed it to me. So I went, you know what? Fuck it. Who cares? I mean, you know what? If it's Dijon heroin, then I'm going to the clink. And that's how it's going to work. So I don't care. For $40, I'll take a chance. So I told him no problem. And he wrote me his business address on on a business card. And he handed it to me. And he got out of the car and I went home. And I told my friends about it. I said, this is, ridiculous, right? I played poker that night. And I told the guys about it. And they're like, well, you're not mailing it to them. And I go, well, yeah, it's just fucking mustard. And they go, what do you mean? And I go, did you open it? And I go, well, no, it's sealed. And they go, well, that's good. But still, at the same time, there could be fucking anything in there, dude. And if your fingerprints are all over it, I go, yeah, I know. What the fuck? But my life it's fallen to this. This is who I am. I'm a guy who drives strangers around and I mail packages to guys I just met. That's who I've become. I'm essentially a mule. I'm a courier. I'm going to wind up at a Turkish fucking prison and I'm going to bite somebody's tongue out. I mean, I don't know. Whatever the fuck's going to happen to me. But however, if that does happen, oh God, I might have a great soundtrack. Dung, 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 dung. You know who that is? That's Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, The Midnight Express. That's probably for 5 people, maybe 5. That seems high. So I send the guy the fucking mustard, and then the next day, which is Friday, I get a phone call on my cell phone, and it's from the Uber number. When you pick people up and you text them and you call them, you're calling them from an Uber number. So that's how it turns out. They only see that. They don't see my cell phone number, and I don't see their number. The number I call is like an Uber number or whatever the fuck. Or maybe I do see their number. Do I? I just don't, whatever. They don't see mine. But it doesn't matter because fucking Friday, I get a phone call and I don't answer it. It's the Uber number. I'm like, what could that possibly be? And sure enough, I fucking listen to the voicemail and it's the dude. It's fucking Colonel Mustard. And he's like, hey, I don't know if I was too clear with you, but I want to go ahead and make sure you know, you can totally keep the change on the money I gave you. Just, go ahead and send me the mustard. But yeah, the remainder, man, that's yours. Like, you can keep it as a tip. And part of me was like, well, that's nice of him to call and check. But then the other part of me is like, yeah, fuck you, man. You know I'm keeping the goddamn change. Who the fuck do you think I am? I'm not a mustard errand boy who's not going to get fucking a little green for the effort. Of course, I mean, it's, if you wanted to hand me a 20 or a 40 or a 100, whatever the fuck, I'm keeping the remainder because you don't know me and I don't know you and you're fucking gone. And I mean, it affects my rating. It affects my fucking rating. So what? You give me 1 star because I kept another $30? Then good for you because you're still going to enjoy mustard because I'm fucking sending it because I'm that kind of guy. But I was more pissed off that he had my fucking phone number. Because not only, it's fine that, the mustard thing and the bullshit, and he's like, hey, you can go ahead and keep the change. Well, fuck yeah, motherfucker. I'm keeping the change. That's what I do. You hand me money, I'm keeping the change. But to have him actually call my cell phone, and again, it was from the Uber number, so I don't know how he did it. I don't know if he contacted Uber and said, I need to talk to the driver. I left something in the car. I get no fucking idea. But I know it didn't make me feel real good about privacy if that guy had my cell phone number. So I have no idea. But I do know that I sent somebody some mustard. So anyway, that week, I drove like fucking 30 people. And they give you a thing at the end of the week, and it says, your Uber weekly partner report. And it tells you, if you have comments or people say good things or bad things about you, and it has, it has your star rating for the week. Now, I should tell you, after the first couple of weeks, I had all 5-star ratings except for except for one person. And I'm not going to tell you about that, but it'll actually be available soon for download. If you saw Podfest, you know exactly what it was. But you'll be able to hear about that later once I'm able to put that on sale, I think in a week or two. I don't know. I've got to wait for the live stream to end. By the way, that live stream's still available. If you go to lapodfest.com and use the code BOY, B-O-Y, all lowercase, you can watch all the shows, but especially mine. Especially, it comes leaping through the screen. Everybody else is there, but I'm especially there for you. So I've only had one bad experience. Well, whatever. So I got a 1 rating, but everything else has been like a 5, to the point where people even get in the car and they go, I've never been with anybody with a 5 rating before. Like, how long have you been doing this? I said about 3 weeks. They're like, that's really good. Cause I guess nobody maintains a 5. But then last week or 2 weeks ago, I get the fucking report. And I took like 20, I think it was 25 people I drove because I only drove a couple of days. But I look, and my star rating is 4.67 out of 5. And it says, unfortunately, you have a below average star rating. And it said you received 21 out of 25 5-star ratings. So what did the other 4 people do? Like, did they just tell me to get fucked? Like, I mean, they must have given me 1 star, but when I think about it, dude, I'm Mr. Uber. Like, there's no reason for me to get a bad fucking report. I mean, I'm a nice guy. The minute people get in the car, I give them the spiel and I tell them what's up and I go, hey man, you want the radio, the air? And look at me. This is who I am as a fucking guy. I'm actually worried about it. Like, I care, and I don't even know why the fuck I care, because who the fuck cares? Because eventually someone's going to puke in my car or punch me in the face or some bad shit's going to happen. I'm going to go, God damn it, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I say why am I doing it all the fucking time? But it doesn't mean I don't want to do it well. And it doesn't mean I don't want, because again, there's that weird competitive bullshit inside me where I'm just like, you know what, fuck that. I got to get 5 stars, man. Fuck yeah. But I'm also not a panderer. How terrible is this? Like, I know dudes who like wear costumes when they do it. There are guys that give out free gum and free water and all this bull because they want fucking ratings. And I guess that's the way you play the fucking game. But I mean, dude, that just seems like fucking trying way too hard. I'm sorry. It's bad enough I'm driving this fucking thing. If I wasn't driving it, I'd be sitting in the back of the bus. All right, that's who I am. I'd be sitting back there, back in the classroom, making fun of fucking everybody. But instead, I'm forced to be driving this fucking thing. So I can't kiss ass. I mean, I'm a nice person. Oh, fuck, who cares? You know what I mean? This weird crisis of conscience while I'm working and talking about Uber. Who the fuck cares? Nobody, right? Nobody should. Well, I mean, you care. Everybody cares. But I mean, in reality, nobody should fucking care. So I go to this meeting today. Like I said, panicked about that fucking 5-star thing. So dumb. Who cares? But I go to the meeting today, and all these guys are asking dumb questions, and they don't speak English. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck? Now that really drove me crazy. How the fuck am I getting less than 5 stars? I mean, you could have gotten into the car with one of these psychopaths. There was a dude sitting in front of me. And look, this doesn't affect a star rating. And he's still probably a good guy. But he had just devastating acne. he looked like he had absolutely, like, maybe he was Ubering people on a motorcycle and then he crashed and went face first without a helmet and just had like fucking raspberries, like road rash all over his face. Holy Jesus Christ. It looked like he was shaving with a helicopter. I mean, it was just fucking awful. And I just thought if I would get in the car and I'd see that dude, I'd be like, holy Jesus Christ, I can't do this, man. I can't even pretend. And look, I'm sure I'm being judgmental and all those terrible things, but his face, Jesus God, it just. You remember I talked about shooting myself in the femoral artery? Well, he heard that story and he dove in front of me and took the blast to the face to save me, and that's what happened. His face was torn asunder by buckshot. Oh my God, was he grim? And but he's there. And then all these other dudes, like I said, in tank tops, and there were guys that smelled, and these are my people. These are who I'm with. That's where I'm lumped in. So they start taking questions. And then one dude who's sitting directly in front of me, he asks like a question that's really sharp. It hasn't been asked yet, and it was a question that I was wondering about myself, but he nailed it. And he asked, and they answered it, but kind of blew him off too. But then he said, well, look, I've worked Uber Eats, and here's my question. And he had, he followed up because he genuinely wanted to know. And she vaguely answered it, but at the same time, I guess it was a satisfactory answer. Who the fuck knows? So by the way, I was gonna just not talk. I was gonna give you a rerun. I still might, fuck. Cause I'm fucking gassed. So whatever, you don't care. So he finishes his question, she answers, and I lean forward, I tap him on the shoulder. I go, hey, can I talk to you after the session? He goes, sure. So he goes to walk out. I go, hey, I'm Mike, and he gives me his name, and I started asking him questions, and he answers all the Uber Eats questions, but then he says, hey, you want to go get something to eat? And I said, sure. And it turned out, as we start talking, he's got all the answers, like for Uber. He's got all the answers that I would need about where to go and what to do, because, you're just kind of learning yourself on this job. And, you just say, hey, get in the car and drive people, right? But you got to be in the right places, and you got to make sure you go where you're going. And he was really forthcoming, and he was a really good guy. And he's giving me these answers, and I said, well, look, let me ask you, man. I go, how are you doing? He goes, I do very well. And I said, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I probably make $1,000 a week. And in my head, I'm like, well, that's pretty good. You know what I mean? That's really good, actually, for Ubering. He goes, yeah, I drive 70 hours, and I think he said a lot more after that. But all I could do was look at him and think to myself, Jesus Christ, 70 hours. 70. No wonder you make $1,000. You're never anywhere but the car. And in my head, I'd been thinking, I'm like, well, I can work 5 12-hour days, or I can work 4 12-hour days, and, trying to still balance off a life with trying to make money. But then, part of me wants to just go fucking hardcore for a full month and just balls out, make as much. Because I'll tell you this, Uber is addictive. It seems like it wouldn't be. It seems like you'd just be like out of your mind, tired or whatever the fuck. No, dude. I'll be driving, and I'll be having driven 9 hours or 10 hours, and it's 5 in, and I'll keep my fucking Uber thing on, and I'll drive toward my house. And I'll even say, hey, man, if anybody pings me, then I'll take them. And sure enough, people will ping me. And I've had to double back to the fucking airport. I was a mile from my house. I had to take a guy to fucking Anaheim. That was a 52-mile drive. And it was late, and I was tired, but I didn't fucking care, because it's addicting. At the second that little bell goes off, you're going to make some money. You hope you're going to make more than $4. I'm yawning. I apologize. It's a weird gig. It's a weird fucking gig, because you're in your head, you're just like, nah, I kind of don't want to do it. But when I was talking to this dude, he's like, hey, man, you just got to fucking forget it. He goes, people don't, they worry about being chumps, and they're like, oh, I can't put this much time in. He goes, no, I do. He goes, I'm in the car 7 days a week, 5 p.m. to 3 a.m. That's how I do it. He goes, that's my job. He goes, and it got me out of debt, and I've saved a lot of money, and, he goes, I make like $1,200, but $200 a week goes to gas. He goes, and that's what you should do. He goes, this job is what you make of it. He said, and I can tell you consistently all the time, every time. He goes, sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. He goes, but I can tell you I make $150 a night, except for the weekend when I make $200. He goes, that's just how it goes. And you know, and that's here where it's super busy and there's so many Ubering people out on the street. And I've had nights, you know, where I've done, you know, I make little. Like I started to really kind of get disenchanted with it just over the first couple of weeks because I'm going, holy fuck, like, you know, I worked 9 hours one night and I only made like $73 because you're taking all these people on these short rides, and I'm like, dude, that's not fucking good. I mean, I can't do that because that really means I'll have to work 7 days a fucking week. But then that last dude with Anaheim was $50. So I'm like, all right, well, that changes the game a little bit here. And then I took a couple more people that night because, again, I was fucking addicted. God, this is a long-ass Uber show. It's just a long-ass show already. A show about nothing. Holy God. I'm not even going to count this. Look, folks, I'm not even going to hold this against you. This will not be counted in the full-on countdown. But the point, I have to go. I have to go. It's so stupid. So I'm going to throw a fucking old show in here. Because, again, I waited for Lily, and she couldn't do it. And then tonight, I was like, all right, well, she said she couldn't do it. And I said, all right, well, then I'm going to have to do the show myself. And then she said, hey, do you think you could help me move? So I did that tonight. And, you know, I was supposed to do it 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, and I was unable to do it. But there was enough to do tonight to where I feel like I fulfilled my obligation, or I wanted to help, and I did. And I'll talk about that. I want to talk about with her here, actually. I told her, I said, I'm going to talk about this tonight. And she's like, well, I figured you would. But I would prefer to talk about it while she's here and see what she has to say about it. But so I helped her move until like fucking midnight. And then I got home here, and so I'm going to bring you an older show. In addition to, you know, and you know what? I'll just do this now. I'll do the plugs and stuff here, and talk about some other stuff, and then we'll just play you. I should have taken a vote to see what people wanted. Well, you know what? Guess what? That's the whole point. Look at the artwork. You don't know what it's going to be. Neither do I. I'm going to go in and just find an old show that I you know, and I don't even know what it's going to be about. I might just fucking. Maybe I'll just pick something from this week years ago. Who knows? I'll take a look. Yeah, fuck it. I will do that. Whatever show I decide to play will be from this particular week. So it's one of 7 shows. Now you know it's one of 7 shows. It could be last year's, or it could be any of the previous years. Brace yourselves. It's coming. But let's just handle this now. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. Our friend David Hernandez does all of the artwork and the music for this show, as you know. He's amazing. You can find him at Facebook.com/DavidMaxHernandez, or you can go to artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com. And he can do Gycons for you. He can do Valscapes, all sorts of neat stuff. Or he can do some custom artwork for you. Go ahead and contact him. He'll do that stuff for you. Our friend Ryan Dirks is our web guy. Go to Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks and find him and tell him to do web stuff for you. Like Spider-Man stuff. Tell him to web you up in a cocoon. And, of course, the producer of this show is my great friend Lily Von Stupp, who could not be here this week. And I should have done the show fucking hours ago, but I did not because I waited and hoped. And then she could not, and then I wound up having to go to a meeting in Uber and then helping her move, and that's where we are now. So that's why you have only like 30 minutes or whatever the fuck it is of original content, and then I'll throw in an older show for you guys to listen to. But I want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. If you want to contact Lily, I should have said that. You can go to Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can go to, will I do the plugs at the end? Should I do that? Yeah, fuck it. I'll do that. All right, well, but then I got to edit it. No, I don't want to edit. I just want to make 2 pieces here. So I'll talk a little bit more on the way out. Holy shit. I am so sorry. Again, folks, this does not count against your subscription price. Please recognize that this is going to be me bringing you this and then an older show, and I'm not charging you. We will not charge you for this week. It's free this is a bonus show. It's free of charge for you folks. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to call it. I might just call it free of charge. There you go. That's what I'll do. So Lily, you can find her at several different Twitter accounts, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, twitter.com/MNTs, and twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. And remember that you can find her at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out if she needs any help packing, you can go ahead and write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Now, normally, we would spin off and do a different thing there, have a spot, and then do the other show. But I'm going to insert that show in here just so I don't have to edit, and I don't want to put in I'll leave the old. Well, I have to. Well, it depends on what show I pick. We'll see what music takes you in and out. I'll actually leave. There might be a double theme. I might even leave the theme song in. Dudes, why am I even warning you? Guess what? Maybe I'll call the show Guess What? Should I call it Free of Charge or Guess What? I can't decide. Or maybe I'll call it Guess What? Question mark. Free of charge! Exclamation point. There you go. I'll combine the two. So I want to talk about the Monday Night Tease, which you guys may know about. It's the amazing burlesque show put on by my great friend Lily Von Stupp. You can go to brownpapertickets.com and get tickets for the upcoming shows. That's, by the way, that's at the 3 clubs on Vine at Santa Monica every Monday night. It's always a huge hit. It's always packed. And Lily's always there, whether she's supervising or performing or emceeing. She's always there working the angles. That's what she's doing. She's a grifter. She'll come over and give you a hug, and then we'll go home, and you're like, "Whoa, where's my wallet?" Well, I'll tell you where it is. It's in the swaddled in the bosom of a busty redhead, brunette now. But perhaps she'll have a red wig on the day she does the fucking grab from you, the smash and grab. She'll smash your boobs into you and grab your wallet. She's the original smash and grabber. Fuck a jewelry store. She just takes care of her customers. So I don't know who's going to be there this week, but it's going to be a fantastic show. Again, go to brownpapertickets.com and put in Lily Von Stupp or Monday Night Tease and get tickets right for all of the shows that are coming up. If you go to facebook.com/Monday Night Tease and join that page, you will see all of the naked ladies that have been there, and you can see all the naked ladies that are on their way. You'll be like at a little way station. You're a little voyeur. That's who you are. You're tucked into the bushes on the side. It's like a speed trap for nudity. You're tucked into the bushes on the side of the internet, the of the World Wide Web, of the what is it called? The World Wide Highway? What the fuck is it called? The electronic highway? The internet highway? Super speed highway? I don't fucking know. It's fucking late, but the information superhighway. That's what it is. You're in the speed trap. You're like tucked away into the bushes on the side of the information superhighway, and you can go ahead and pull people over and check out their boobs. That's how it works. So the Monday Night Tease is available. Tickets are always available. Go check them out and have a good time. She's got other shows coming up later in the month, but just follow her on Facebook or Twitter, and you'll learn about all those shows coming up. They're great. Go to the Joe Business page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com. All sorts of cool stuff there. We've got download sets, year 1 through year 6, year 7 coming soon. I will tell you, coming soon also is going to be the Podfest from this year. But right now, Schmidt Alive 2 is available for only a couple more weeks. Schmidt Alive 2, the package from last year, video and audio combined, will be falling off the page soon. The Dirt shirts are available, of course. My CD, The Big Angry, is available. Go ahead and pick that up. And use our Amazon link. That's really important. We're friends with tweakedaudio.com. As a matter of fact, if you buy any of their stuff, we get a taste of it. Thank you so much for that. And again, if you want to be an Uber driver and you want me to refer you, how sad is this? You can call me or text me or email me, and I'll send you my code. I'm tired of reading it on the air here because that just seems really humiliating. But I'll text you the code, and then you'll not only have a code that you can join, and you can do some rides and get me some money, but you'll have my phone number. And then you can call me and go, "Thanks, Mike." And I will not answer it. I will just stare at it and go, "I don't know why this Uber dude is giving me a call, and I will not mail you any mustard." Who the fuck am I kidding? Of course I'll mail you mustard. So if you want an Uber code, write me, call me, and bother me, and I'll be happy to give it to you. And then you can be a driver too, and we can all meet together at Uber Eats and learn about how to deliver people coleslaw in the middle of the fucking night, not just during the day when I used to do it. So that's that. Remember the Amazon link on our page. That's important. If you use the Amazon link, it gets us some money, and that's really cool of you to think of us and do that. Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. And the download sets, I plugged everything pretty much on the Joe Business page. And was there anything else to tell you about it? Use the code BOY at lapodfest.com, I think. And now I'm going to do this because this is who I am as a guy. I deputized all of you guys in the beginning of the year, and you've all been very good and forthcoming and very nice and very fun and very cool. And you'll say that you're deputized, or we got to get the word out. Our friend George keeps writing me every week, and all sorts of neat people have stepped up. And there are people like our friend Paul Pepper donated quite a bit to the GoFundMe page, and Paul's had some recent troubles. He lost his mom, and He's had other family trouble, so I just wanted to go ahead and throw out a stay strong, Paul, to our friend Paul Pepper. He's a good guy, and he's been really good to us. And he came to see me in Washington D.C. And so good for him. Good for him to come to D.C. and see me. How terrible is that? As I mentioned, all his family's falling apart. But he's a good guy, and I just want to tell him that we're keeping a thought for him. And if you guys can too, that's fine. And I want to throw this out there as well. There's a listener to the show who he's probably come to see me, I think 5 times now, I would guess. Well, actually, might even be more. He's come to see me at all the Podfests, so that's 4 times. And I know he saw me in San Francisco a couple of times. And I actually had dinner with him just about 6 months ago. He came to town. Our friend Chris Cade. I'm going to say Chris's name because why not? Chris Cade is a listener to the show, and he's a deputy. And he is a guy who has texted me. I talked about Chris on here a few weeks ago because he wound up going to some porn stars comedy show or whatever the fuck. And then he and I had dinner. And he's always been great. He's a guy who donates to the show, and he supports, and he writes me, and he wants to know when I'm coming back to San Francisco or the Bay Area. Every time he comes down here, he looks me up. We go have something to eat, or we hang out. And he's just a great guy and a good fan. Or not even a fan. I didn't want to say that. He's a good friend. Great guy, good friend of the show. And I just found out via Facebook that our friend Chris has he had a stroke, and not just that was close type of stroke. I think Chris is in bed, and I don't know if he can talk. And again, I'm kind of following along through social media, so I'm not sure, and I don't want to give away too many fucking things, but I mean, his sister did put all of this up on her page / his page, so I guess I'm not really telling tales out of the hospital, but apparently he's okay. He's got a long fucking road ahead of him. He's got to learn a bunch of shit, like walking and talking, and they shaved half his head, so I'm sure he looks fucking goofy as hell. But good for him. Not that he was that pretty in the first place. Let's be honest, Chris. You know you weren't. But Chris is a good friend of the show, and he's always been great to me. And I've even mentioned him, even on the live Podfest, he actually approached the stage once and handed me a business card for Squarespace, and I was like, Chris, why? Why would you do this? Why would you interrupt the show like this? And so I don't even know what the fuck I'm asking here. I guess I'm just, this means something. I did a show a couple of weeks ago where I said my mom had recovered, and I just want Chris and Paul and anybody else out there who's going through anything to know, you know what, fuck, it all changes. It all changes quick. Look, it changed quick for you now. Chris, you didn't expect to be laid up like this, but boom, it fucking changed. Now you are. And you know what? It'll change just as quickly back as you go ahead and you make this long road to recovery. You put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking across the floor like the goddamn heat miser, whoever the fuck it was. But man, I had such a great time with Chris sitting in an El Torito watching the Warriors beat the Cavaliers last year, and again, it just reminded me how lucky I am to have this show and to have you guys out there who all not only take an interest in the show, but take an interest in me. Chris didn't have to fucking take me out to dinner. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to watch a basketball game with me. I'm sure there's a million fucking things to do in Los Angeles, but he sought me out. And like I said, he's come to see me 4-6 times. It's like our friend Derek. I mean, there's all sorts of people who've seen me. Our friend John from Toronto, who's seen me all over the fucking country. And these are great people and good friends. And I guess I just wanted to mention to Chris that it's going to be okay. And to Paul, it's going to be okay. And who the fuck am I to know that? Nobody. I'm just a fucking guy right now sitting in his fucking green shorts at 2 o'clock in the morning in his own house, just talking into a fucking microphone with nobody around. And I'm sure his neighbors can hear him through the fucking wall. I wonder what the fuck he's doing talking to himself. But, you guys have all rallied to my side, and you've all been really cool and stepped up, and you've been deputized, and you've written me to write me cool things and tell me that I should be doing. And so I guess it's about time I did it for you. And I told people like Chris and our friend Jamie, who was in a neck brace for a long time, and I just tell you guys that it's gonna be fine, man. It's gonna be fine. And Chris, I say this, and it's gonna sound silly, and Paul, I say this, and Jamie knows. If you need anything from me, you can always ask. I mean, if you text me, send me anything. If you fucking, I mean, I don't I don't have a lot, man. You know that. I'm sitting in a fucking morning meeting with Uber people looking to deliver goddamn ribs and hamburgers again. That's who I am, recycling. I can't fucking escape. I'm Pacino in fucking Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, they bring me back in and they fill my car with fucking food again. But that's, that's only temporary. What I'm doing is only temporary. My mom beat fucking cancer like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. I don't fucking know. I've lost count at this point. So what I'm going through is only temporary. And if anyone knows about keeping your hopes up in the midst of doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, or in the midst of a setback, or in the midst of doing things that are temporary, it's me. Regardless of the fact that I've now been doing this temporary thing for over 2 years, so maybe it's not as temporary as I thought it was going to be. I know it's a long recovery, and I know that at the end it'll be worth it. And Paul, I want you to know that, man. It's I saw you said, it's blow after blow can be really hard to withstand. But, you got a good woman in your life, and you've got people who love you, so fucking hang in there. It's going to be great. Chris, you got your sister taking care of you, you got your kids, you got everybody rallying to your side. And if you guys need anything, man, if you want to talk or text or any of that bullshit. It's funny because Chris is one of the dudes who'll text me and he'll say stuff like, hey man, I know I'm not supposed to be bothering you. And it's like, no, fuck that. What are you talking about? I mean, I might not be able to get back to you soon or ever. but if you want to contact me, man, go ahead, or write me something, or you just want to fucking talk in the middle of the night and you happen to have my number. If I can take the call, I will. I mean, I did the Schmitty call me thing and I talked to people and it was awkward as fuck. You know what I mean? It'll probably be awkward again. But I don't, I got to tell you, I what else am I doing? You know what I mean? What the fuck else am I doing? If I can't help you guys, if I can't talk to you guys, if I can't fucking reach out and be there for you guys, if and or when you need me, then what the fuck am I doing? It doesn't make any sense. The whole point of this is that we're all in this together. I've said it, and it's not a one-way street. It's not like you guys are just there for me and I draw from you and then yay, look what's happening. No, man. If you need something, let me know. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I can do. I don't have a lot of things I can help you with, but if you just want to talk or something, man, let me know. God, how weird is this? This got fucking weird, right? At 2 o'clock in the morning? All of a sudden now, now I think I'm Dear Abby. All of a sudden I just now I'm a priest. What the fuck just happened? Did I just throw on a priest suit? I may have just thrown in a goddamn shirt and a collar and just said, hey, you know what? Let's all fucking hit our knees and have some goddamn bread that tastes like Jesus. Let's do that. What do you say? Hey, where's that blood wine? We got any of that? Let's pour a couple of shots of that. Let's pour some blood wine and eat some fucking Jesus bread and we'll talk. Let's do that. Let's rap, man. Let's just sit around in Indian style in a circle underneath a copper image of our Messiah being crucified, and let's talk about it, man. Let's just fucking rap about our lives as we all look up and we see metal drops of blood coming out of his fucking crown of thorns. Let's do that, should we? I don't know, man. It's fucking late, and I don't even. And now I'll tell you what, we're just about at an hour. So part of me's thinking I shouldn't even put the old episode in. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna do this. It's fucking 2:10 in the morning. I'm gonna go on the Joker's page right now, and the first fucking person to comment, because I'm going to say, hey, look, man, I only did about an hour show. Do you want me to throw in an older show? If you do, great. And if you don't, that's fine too. You know what? Hang tight. I will be right back.
No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind green eyes. No one knows what it's like to be hated, to be faded, to telling only lies. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. knows what it's like to feel these feelings like I do. And I'll blame you. No one bites back this hard on their anger. None of my pain and woe can show through. But my dreams, they aren't as empty as my conscience seems to be. I have hours only lonely. My love is vengeance that's never free. When my fist clenches, crack it open before I use it and lose my cool. When I smile, tell me some bad news before I laugh and act like a fool. And if I'm spouting anything evil, take my hand into your own. And if I stammer, please give me the answer. Don't you leave me out here alone. What it's like to be the bad man, to be the sad man behind green eyes.
Well, that took a lot fucking longer than I thought it would. Who knew so many fucking people were awake at 2 o'clock in the morning? It is now 3:25 a.m. and I talked to like fucking 10 people on the Joker's page back and forth. There was one vote, I will tell you this. Overwhelmingly people said, hey, put an old episode in, which is very nice of Hugh and Jonathan and Alex. And I'm trying to think about all the people off the top of my fucking head. Tony, our good friend Tony from Australia, popped in. Nicholas from the Ukraine. Look at all the people. Hanan El Hamami came in. We heard from it was an international flavor, folks. It was quite a chat. And everybody popped in to say, hey, dude, here's what we think. Patrick, our friend Patrick was there. Our friend Ruben, Alex made me laugh because he said one thing and then he disappeared. I thought he just literally just popped in and told me he was awake. So the bottom line is, hey, everybody said, dude, throw an old episode in. So I'm going to do just that. Some people wanted a full interlude. Some people wanted both. Everybody's very nice. But I wound up chatting with them. And now here it is, 3:25, and I still have editing. So I'll tell you this. So I came back, and I figured out which episode I was going to use. So in order to do the Audacity, I got to build. It's like a fucking puzzle. So I had to throw the fucking theme song in, and I got to find the old episode. And I'm like, I just want to keep this because people even said, how about you do this and this and this? And I'm like, fuck, dudes, I just want no editing. Like I'm bleary-eyed as it is. And they were nice, and they said, okay, great. So I come back to Audacity, launch it. And I build it, and I try to open it. I try to save it, and it gives me the fucking spinning wheel, the rainbow wheel of death. And I'm waiting, because I've had that happen before, but luckily I'm very smart, because I had a good teacher in Lily Von Stupp, and she's like, save all the time. The second you stop talking, hit save. So I've been saving. So it's spinning and spinning and spinning, and I give it 5 minutes, hoping it'll just end, and I went, fuck it, and I force quit Audacity. And then all you got to do is reopen it. So I open it up, and it says recover project. And I said, yeah, go ahead. So it recovered it. Or it gave me the spinning wheel for about 2 minutes. And I'm like, well, that's not good. It's supposed to just fucking recover it immediately. And it turns out that It recovers it, and so it has the old episode in there, and it has the theme song in there. But everything I've said here, this fucking hour or 47 minutes, whatever the fuck, is gone. It's silence. It's a flat fucking line. And I'm staring at it. I'm like, you motherfucker. Because I'll tell you what, Lily showed me a lot of stuff. And she told me to save, but she never told me how to fucking recover shit if it disappeared. You know, and I saved it, man. I knew it was in there. I didn't know where the fuck it was, but I knew it was in there. And so I had to Google Audacity recovery. And it said to do it manually, and it had all this shit where you gotta like line up these numbers. Dude, go Google it. Just Google it and try to read it and go, man, I mean, it's the kind of shit. I'm waiting for fucking the guy from A Beautiful Mind to show up with chalk and write it on my fucking wall. I mean, there's just no way I could ever recover this fucking sound file. And I'm like, dude, I'm dead. I'm dead. After all this bullshit and chatting with people from all over the fucking world, literally, I'm chatting with people from all over the globe on Facebook, and then I come back with all this bullshit, and I lose the audio file. I lose the 47. So it looks like I didn't even do the fucking 47 minutes of the fucking show or whatever. So I'm totally looking all over the computer. I can't figure it out. I'm trying to figure out how to save it. And then I go into my Audacity projects, and there's EP23 Audacity and EP23 data, but then I have a folder for episode 23, which I created, and I open that up. And the only thing in it is a saved file of the audio track. So I open it up and it's there. So basically, Audacity was corrupted. Dude, I can't even try to fucking explain it. Who am I? Really? I'm not Goodwill Hunting, so fuck that. All I know is I found it. I opened it up and I built it, and you will come. I've built it, so you will come. So we're throwing in an old episode, and like I said, man, this show's free, so guess what? And I don't even know what the name is. I might just call it Guess What, because now I forgot what the fucking show title's supposed to be. But yeah, remember all that stuff I said about everybody and all you guys and being on board, and I'm yawning. I apologize, 3:30. So I the bottom line is, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting me, and I have plans, man. I got stuff to do. I'm looking to get on the road, and you don't fucking care. Nobody wants to hear a pep talk. All right, listen to this show from when I was good.
Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast, folks. There's Lily laughing for no reason like she always does to try to make it a good show right off the bat, trying to put me in a mood, trying to put me in a headspace proper to doing a show, a podcast, a humor show, a humor-based show, a show chock full of laughs. And, man, I don't know if I got that for you today, folks. I got to be honest. This is the week I wanted to take off. I thought about taking off, but the thing is, Lily's like, it'll be 5 hours of work if you take off. And I'm like, okay, I'll just talk. I'm happy just to not be driving. I'll be truly honest with you. I'm happy to just be sitting in a place where I don't have to. All right, look. I mentioned last week in passing that there had been some sort of accident. And look, I can't talk about it, folks. I think we all know that. Hold on. A helicopter's about to fucking 9/11 the shit out of the oldest building in Hollywood. Hold on. Did you guys hear that? I hope you did. If not, that's going to sound like the worst proclamation ever. Hold on, a helicopter's about to smash into the building. Really? Because it didn't sound close at all, you fucking hump? Yes, I agree. I may have overreacted. But so now, because of this accident, I will tell you that one of the people in my family is incapacitated to the point where they are not allowed to drive or they're not able to drive. So that leaves the driving to me. Hi, I'm Mike. And so now I have to drive everywhere. And the thing is, my wife used to drive everywhere. And that's one of the reasons why she can't drive now is because she was driving at the time that something happened that I can't talk about. But I will tell you that she used to drive everywhere, and it was not like, and I would even fight with her. I'd go, dude, let me drive. It's okay. And she'd say, all right, here was why. All right, in the beginning, back when the Earth's crust was cooling, I'm an idiot. In the beginning, what happened was I had a lease on my Murano, and then we bought Karen's Altima.
Okay, so then it was kind of decided that because I had a mileage limit and a cap and all that stuff, that we would best be served taking Karen's car everywhere because that was the car that we owned. Plus, Karen gets to park in the carport area, so she's always got a parking spot if we leave and we come back. Whereas I would have to search up and down the street, and I live in an area where there's a ton of Russians who decide to park for no reason and then walk a mile. I mean, it's I don't get it. I don't understand how you would feel comfortable leaving your car, but these people do. They park and then they get out and they literally they will park and then they will open their trunk and pull out like a goat and then they and a walking stick and they will Sherpa their way to their fucking building wherever the fuck they're going because they park far away is my point, I guess. I guess I could have just said it like that, folks. I didn't need a trunk full of goats and a walking stick to get the point across that these people park far away from their destination. And by doing so, they don't accommodate me in any way because they all park around my house. What the fuck? Get lost, Rooskies. Take your goats and your walking sticks walking. That's right, walking. That's what you should do. You should get your goats out and walk them with your walking stick far away from my building and let me park by my house. But unfortunately, that was not the case. So inevitably, I would have to park fucking, and I think I told you this, when I was Fat Mike, crazy Fat Mike, yes, here's something I'm not proud of, but I'll say it, and I've said it before. I would park, like 3 blocks from my house and then call my wife, and she would pick me up. That's how fat I was, folks, because not even for lack of effort, but also because I was in pain. Like my fucking legs and shit, it was like, I weighed 500 pounds. Walking 3 blocks was a chore. Not as much a chore as talking about it, apparently, but... I got nothing, man. Because this week has been a week of I have been in doctor's offices staring at sad people. That's it. That's all they've been doing. Just walking in and looking at people with a puss on their face, and that's why they're there. Actually, they're there to have the puss surgically removed from their face. And you know what will not do that? This show. This show will not remove the puss from anybody's face because it is that kind of a weird, I got nothing, down in the dumps type of incomplete show. I didn't. It's even like nighttime. I think we all know I hate a nighttime record, and there's no Phillies even to bump this record. Last week there was a reason why I went late. The Phillies were throwing no hitters, and there was things to be joyous about. But today I'm just late because I'm late because I had a doctor thing today. And then Lily had a chicken and bacon dinner that she couldn't postpone, so I had to go ahead and wait another hour for that. And look, folks, when a clown is cooking poultry, you cannot interrupt that. That's the bottom line. When a circus performer is doing some sort of broasting, you don't want to get involved. So that's what I had to do. I had to stay away.
You told us 6. We planned on 6.
Well, yes, and then I called it, but I said I might be here earlier because of the doctor, and then I called at 5 and said I was on my way, and she's like, could you give us 20 more minutes because we're broasting a chicken? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And then in the background I heard him honk a horn, and I knew that he was very upset. So I certainly don't want to get in the way of that. I don't want to come here and experience the roar of the grease paint. So I said, all right, I will stay away. Yes, I don't understand your mocking. Huh? Yeah, this is a show that Lily usually takes notes. Lily takes notes and holds up like indications of time. This is an incomplete show, folks. Because like I said, I got here and I've got nothing. I can't talk about my week. I can't talk. Normally, I bring to you folks exactly what I've been through. I can't do it, man. Because I would be violating some sort of statute as handed down by the by decree of the guys who are running my life now. I can't even say names. I can't give you scenarios or situations. Holy fuck, what a whiff. And now it's, like I said, it's like 7:30 p.m. And what if it was a.m.? That'd be great. We should do an early show. What if I did? I brooded all night long in your house and then finally went, all right, let's do this at 7:30 a.m. No, it's 7:30 p.m. And I even had to call Max because he's a 2-hour time difference. He lives in the future. And go, dude, I haven't even started the show yet. So, I mean, I don't even know what to tell you to give you a guideline for the photo. He's like, I'll take care of it. I go, really? And he goes, well, first of all, it's not a photo. I said, yes, you're absolutely right. It's not a photo. And he's like, dude, I'll take care of it. I go, all right. Well, so I'm as surprised as you folks. Right now, I can't wait to see what Max is going to come up with because I don't know what the fuck it's going to be. I called him. He's just like, dude, I got it. I said, all right, you sure? And he goes, yeah, I got it. Because he goes, what did you talk about? I go, I haven't even done the show yet. He goes, oh, dude. I go, yeah. And he goes, well, what are you going to talk about? I go, honestly, I don't know. I have nothing to talk about because I've been fucking doing this and that. I can tell him, folks. I can talk about it with him, but I can't talk about it with you. Because God knows there'd be a subpoena. And they'd be like, well, you sound sort of jovial. And then a gavel would bang and my life would be ruined. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even explain to you folks what's going on. Because this guy told me, he's like, don't talk to anyone. You can't give a recorded statement to anyone. And I wanted to go, hey, I do a living diary of my life every week. Is that going to be a hassle for anyone? But instead, of clearing it with him, I decided I'm just deciding not to tell you folks anything, which I can tell you makes for great entertainment. Oh my God. As if you haven't figured that out by now. You're just like, wow, this is a great show that means nothing. And by the way, I should tell you that this week, this show is brought to you by Lawrence, a listener who donated to the show. So I've been remiss in not mentioning people who donated. One time on episode 12, the entirety of episode 12 was brought to us by like 15 people or even more. But I've been remiss in mentioning. So I will tell you that Lawrence has sponsored this opening segment of Malaise. So good for you, Lawrence. I hope you think it was money well spent. Oh, good Christ. I should just ruin it all and give last names and amounts and things like that and just, really pay people. One guy, I will say this makes me laugh. Eventually, why not just say that this person, this show is also, well, no, I can't do that yet. All right, doesn't make any sense. I got to go in order because my ADD insists it. All right, so.
Don't be funny now. Let your ADD roll.
I'm sorry, my OCD. My ADD doesn't insist that I go in order. My OCD does because that means I have to go in order. All right. All right, so now I've mentioned Lawrence. Good for you, Lawrence. This is what you've sponsored. I hope you feel your donation was worth it. Oh, Jesus. I wanted to yawn there. I should just let him come. I should just yawn and fucking everything else. You're not even keeping track of time, are you? We don't even know. Oh, all right. Because she doesn't have her pad of paper. Normally Lily takes notes and she writes down the. Do you see where it is? Should we take a break?
But I know if I stand up, it will confuse
Well, you can't stand up. You got crutches and fucking crazy cartoon eyes on your knee.
Stand with my crutches.
No, I don't want to see it. I can't see it. I don't know. My lawyer has said that you shouldn't stand up. I don't know. He's like, all right, do me a favor. Tell your friend not to stand up in the middle of the show. It might be distracting and cause a problem for you, and then we'll have to find another specialist for you to see. All right, I got to shut the fuck up. No, I can't be. I can't even. I won't even be able to talk about that. No, stop. So yeah, I've been in waiting rooms all week, folks, just staring at people, looking at them and giving information and just and getting special. I can't talk about it. I got to shut up. This is the problem. And it's so then I came here and I said, Lily, I go, is there a way we can just cobble the show, like a greatest hits type of thing? And look, I know I have no greatest hits. I'm aware of that, folks. What I meant was using old audio that I had from previous shows. And she's like, nope, absolutely not. That'll take 5 hours of work. And I was like, I kind of know what I would do. I said, we can't use year 1 or 2. We'll do something from year 3, and it'll be a way to. And she's just like, nope, takes forever. And I went, okay, well then these people are going to fucking just listen to this. A lot of me bitching and talking in circles. Are you finding this? No? Yeah? Now she's up and she's looking for a pad of paper. And, I think I just took the microphone away. Hold on. There we go. That's my microphone. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I feel, you know what? I don't want to talk about the miners because everybody else is talking about the miners, but I've lived that this week. That's what I've done. I mean, because what do the miners have to talk about? Nothing. They've just been in the break room all along waiting to get rescued. And so they have no anecdote. They have nothing to say. Although I will say this, what the fuck? I mean, look, we all watch the miners, okay? The miners getting dragged out of the earth. And I saw the first dude get put into the fucking coffin and then dragged through the little hole. And he's got to, dude, they have to take a half-mile ride up through that little fucking space. I said to Karen, I go, look, all right, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I think it would be great if the machine broke and the person got trapped in the center of the earth, like in the center of the mine. And she's like, oh, my God, how could you say that? I go, well, I don't want him to die. I go, but how crazy, because also there's a camera on him in the plexiglass box to make sure he doesn't panic. And I also love the irony of the fact that they've been trapped in this small space for, 2 months, 3 months, whatever, and the only recourse for them is to escape through a much smaller space. They're like, look, you guys are claustrophobic and you've dealt with it up to this point, but what we're going to do is, hear us out. We're going to duct tape you into place, and then place you in the smallest coffin, cigarette holder looking thing in the world and drag you up through a half mile of earth as you stare as it goes slower than you could ever imagine. Like, they got to be panicking halfway up, but and look, I recognize that they're probably like, this is great, we're finally getting out of the earth, but at the same time, you got to be panicking a little bit in that little box because the second that a pulley stops or anything, you got to lose your mind because you can't move. They can't move at all. They can yell. I mean, they can probably yell. I know exactly that shudder. That's exactly what I thought watching it. And Karen's all excited. She's like, we got to watch the miners. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to watch the miners. Sorry, I'm yawning, folks. I'm not going to watch the miners. I don't care. I just don't because you know why? Because now people are talking about the miners like they're celebrities. Like, dude, I mean, if that's all you need is 70,000 tons of rock to fall on you to get a goddamn show, well, somebody put me in the earth. Let's go. Let's do this. It's about fucking time. I'll take a mining gig because I mean, and I'm not even joking. Like there was one guy who came out and they said he was putting on shows for the guys down in the mine, and they showed him on camera, and they're saying that he may actually get a television show. Like they're talking about when he gets out of the mine, dude. This guy's whole adult life, he's worked in a mine. He was not qualified to do anything other than work in a goddamn mine, and now you're going to put him on fucking television because he did a soft shoe in an underground cave? Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ, I've been doing a podcast on the air for 3 years. All I'm doing is talking into space. I could do this from a mine too. It's just that's the key to my non-success in show business. I have never been trapped. If there would just be a way where I could be trapped in the earth or trapped in some sort of contraption, if a car were to fall on me or I would get trapped in a tram at a ski lodge, inevitably they would give me a fucking show. That's what would happen because I love the fact that that's the leap too. Where everybody's like, these guys are great. We got to get them on television. No, you don't. Get them out of the fucking earth. That's what you have to do. You have to get them out of the goddamn earth. That's all you need to concern yourselves with so they can see their wives and their mistresses and shake hands with their goddamn president and whatever the fuck. And also, look, we know a lot about these dudes because they're in the earth, and that's fine. But then I love the fact that they're like, oh, all these guys are Chilean, except for the one foreigner in the mine, a Bolivian. Who the fuck cares? At this point, they're all in the mine. Is it okay if we can just transcend race or ethnicity just for this one time in our lives? We don't have to separate. Do you think that happened down there? Do you think they finally, after like 12 days, they went, holy fuck, do you guys realize we're trapped down here with a Bolivian? I mean, no, They weren't upset. They were just dudes in a mine trying to share breath. Nobody was down there going, fuck, I can't breathe this nasty Bolivian stink. No! They all stunk. They were all a united force. They were the stinky miners who were underneath the ground and trying to get saved. Nobody was like, fuck that Bolivian. He can go eat over there. No, nobody cared. Why would you even bring it up? Let these guys be the miners. That's it. That's who they are. They're the miners. And that's another thing, too. I will say this. We can't make them all the miners. I mean, they're individual people. But now, as they come out, people are referring to them as the Chilean miners. Like they're the Partridge Family. I mean, can we give these guys a break from one another? Because now they're talking about they're all going to go on shows and do interviews and stuff like that. Do you think any of these dudes want to see the other miners ever again? I don't think I would ever be friends with. I would just be like, all right, fellas, it was great being in the earth with you for 70 days, but I'm going to go do anything alone. In a wide open space. I will never be indoors ever again. I mean, the fact they want to get them all on television, they want to get them all together and talk to them. What the fuck are they going to say? Yeah, we were blowing each other. No, there's nothing. They were trapped in the goddamn earth. Anything horrible that they did is they're not going to mention it. I mean, you think that's going to be what revelation are you going to find? They're going to be like, yeah, it was terrible. We couldn't breathe. It was dark and it was awful. And we had rations and that's it. All right, Dan, good night. I'm running the credits. They're not going to say, yeah, it was terrible. The worst days were fuck the Bolivian days. Oh my God. Terrible. We all, that was the thing is it's like, and the Bolivian guy was so pissed because he was like, hey, when is fuck a Chilean day? Never. Although it could have worked out for him because, I mean, he would have had like all these different asses to choose from, but the Bolivian just gets railed. That guy's in fucking trouble. Fuck a Bolivian day is awful when you're trapped in the earth because especially if you're the only goddamn Bolivian. See, that's why race is an issue. That's why ethnicity is an issue is because when it became fuck a Bolivian day, the Bolivian looked around and he went, hold on a second. Hey, that's me. I'm the only goddamn Bolivian in this joint. You can't tell me it wasn't happening, folks. I mean, because quite frankly, I've had that. I'm not even in a mine. I've had fuck a Bolivian day. Fuck. I've had that since I was in high school. All right. Huh? It was terrible. It was an awful time for the exchange student. We bent Ignacio Iribarren over a desk and plowed him. Oh, it was awful. Fuck a Spaniard. We had fuck a Spaniard day. Ignacio Iribarren got hammered. All right. And you know who was very happy about that? Jean-Louis Berlamont, because it was not fuck a Black Haitian day. I think he was Asian. I forget. I don't know what Jean-Louis was. He was just an exchange. Weirdly, this guy, all right, we had an exchange student in my school named Jean-Louis Berlamont, and he just appeared out of nowhere, like Zorro. I mean, like, I didn't even know. All of a sudden, we just had like a black exchange student it was almost like he was cast like a sitcom. Like there was me and my friends, and all of a sudden it was like, hey, Jean-Louis Berlamont is here. Who the fuck is that? Oh, he's the new exchange student who speaks French. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Black Afro guy who speaks French. It seems like right out of some weird casting. He was the Oliver of my high school class. when things were flagging for me and Dennis and all the rest of us, they were like, we need some new blood in here. And they went and got a cousin Oliver. They got Jean-Louis Berlamont and threw him into the mix. Holy shit. Ignacio Iribarren he was there when I was a sophomore. He was, it was so, I remember him coming over from Spain. Everybody's like, he's really good at soccer. And I mean, wait, dude, I lived in suburban Chicago. Like, nobody gave a shit about soccer at my school. But all of a sudden we had Ignacio Iribarren, so everybody's like, we're going to be fucking great at soccer now because we got the Spanish guy. No, it didn't happen. He was busy fucking Laura Berger. All right. That's right. How weird is it with the exchange students would get girls? Like, that just seems to make no sense to me. I mean, Ignacio was kind of a goofy-looking dude, too. What? You don't think that's strange? No. I mean, I guess the girls are thinking he's some strange. That's what he is. He's some strange for them. Like, and also we're out at the back roads pounding old style, and maybe Ignacio, spoke in lilting prose. I have no idea what he did. Guy's from fucking Spain. I don't want to talk to that asshole. All right. I'm busy waiting for my high school days to flag so they can cast the Black Haitian to make everybody interested again. All of a sudden he's at the lunch table like, how the fuck is he here? What, that's Jean-Louis Berlamont. People just come out of nowhere in my school. Like, oh, dude, the worst ever. All right, I talked about, all right, I shouldn't even go into this. All right. I mentioned when I was in school, when I was in high school, I would misbehave quite a bit. I would ditch class. I would do other things, mainly ditch class. I mean, I didn't do any homework either, but you couldn't get in trouble for not doing your homework. You just get failed, which I did. But I would ditch class, and because of that, then they would throw me in internal. Internal suspension was you spent all day silent in one room with with Mr. Mahalik, who to me, Mr. Mahalik, that had to be either the best or the worst gig in the school. I can't imagine. I don't know which one it was for him. He also taught driver's ed, so he would like disappear about halfway through the day and go eat lunch and then teach driver's ed and come back. But I have to think, didn't he love, like in high school, isn't your ideal job as a teacher to be in a room where nobody's talking? Like, I mean, that's the prison guard aspect of high school teaching. You know what I mean? If you work in a school like that, then you're just a prison guard. That's what he was. He was a prison guard. He was in this room to make sure we didn't talk and to make sure we didn't sleep. That drove me crazy, was that you couldn't sleep, but I slept all the fucking time. And I was there so much, Mahalik didn't even care at that point. I would just fucking, here's how I would sleep too. did I cover this already? I did, yeah, I'd put a book under my chin. Oh, it was awesome. All right, so I won't go into it. Literally says I talked about it. What was I talking about? I was in internal. So, I would get put in internal for like 5 days at a time. You know what I mean? So I would spend an entire week in silence in this classroom, only going down to get lunch, and then you'd have to actually bring your lunch back and eat it in internal, and it was crazy. So 1 week, one 2 week period, I wound up getting put in internal. This is my senior year, and I also wasn't going. For some reason I didn't go out at night. I was grounded or something, so I couldn't go out to parties. I don't know what the fuck happened. All I know, really? Holy shit. All I know is I'm sorry, folks. Again, I have nothing to talk about this week, so I'm trying to cobble this together. I'm just trying to cobble this together. I don't know. I don't know where who cares? Folks, don't go to waiting rooms. All right. Just the most sad, depressed. I mean, I thought the emergency room was sad, but the waiting room was worse because the emergency room, at least people are in shock. So they've got like kind of that vibe happening where it's like, oh my God, things are happening. And there's like bang, bang, and people are running around. It kind of feels like an action show. But a doctor's waiting room is PBS, straight up fucking PBS. It's just looking around at people, and you're like, this is a show about geology, and I'm living it. Oh, my God. It's literally like being in a show about rocks, because it's just sad people staring forward, sniffling, got tears in their eyes, and they're waiting to get seen because they got a tumor or somebody else has a tumor or one of their friends has a tumor or they want a tumor. They excited about tumors, not excited about. I don't fucking care. I'm just waiting there just to walk in and because again, we're all waiting to die. I've said this. Everyone in life is waiting to die. But when you're doing it in a waiting room of a doctor's office, then it's like you know what it is? You took your finger and you turned your clock forward, your death clock. It's the daylight standard time of your life when you're sitting in a waiting room at a doctor's office because you're moving your clock ahead an hour. Literally, you've lost an hour of your life. It doesn't matter. You can sit there for 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes you sit in a doctor's waiting room, you lose an hour off your goddamn life because it is just from the dread you feel from what's going to happen to you when you go in the room to find out what's happening, and also looking around in the collective dread of the zombies that are all sitting there waiting to find out what that mole is. Oh, God. Holy crap. You know, it's funny, when guys go to their work and they just mow down a bunch of people at their work with a fucking gas-powered carbine rifle. They should just go to a doctor's office instead and just kill everybody there because they're doing everybody a favor at that point. Even the nurses and everyone. Don't groan. I'm serious. You're out of the doctor's office now. Well, come on. You wouldn't rather take a bullet than deal with this knee for the next 8 weeks?
Sometimes, yes.
And plus, you got a great story. Now your story is, I had nerve surgery. Then you're like, oh, dude, some dude in a mask came in and shot me in the head. Awesome. While I was waiting to get my knee looked at. Forgot all about my goddamn knee. Guy put a canoe in my fucking head. That's right from Tombstone, right? Is that where that's from? Fucking Wyatt Earp puts his gun against, oh, goddamn Tombstone rules. God damn, is Tombstone great. Except for the scenes where fucking Kurt Russell is out with Dana Delaney and having a picnic. Dude, cut that out. Because that movie, the movie's like 2.5 hours long. All the great shit is in there. You're like, yeah, but then there's like 40 minutes of, oh, I don't need to see him dancing in the snow. Get the fuck out. That's a lie. You need to see Dancing in the Snow because it's the end of the movie. But, oh, hold on, spoiler. But I didn't say who was dancing in the snow. Someone is dancing in the snow in Tombstone. I won't say who it is. But I can tell you that he's not your Huckleberry. All right, so, the hell was I talking about? Was I talking about isolation? Really? You don't care. Honestly, you know what pisses me off is fucking Lily told me, because I said, look, I got no show. I got nothing this week. And she's like, fine. And I go, well, do me a favor. We could go ahead and put together like an old, like a greatest hits type of thing where I could bring up a story or have something like that. I'm like, because I had the idea. I was just going to do the story from early in year 3 when I had to throw the pencils at the dude. And I'm like, we could just get that whole story because that was a long story and chunk it up and it's fine. She's like, no, it takes 5 hours. And I'm like, fuck. All right. I'll just try to fucking talk. All right. So. Isolation. You just don't care. You're seriously. You didn't even have your pad to start.
That's because we were talking so long before we started.
This show is a whiff, folks. I mean, just a fail. Just a complete failure. Unbelievable. I don't get enough listeners to entice the bigger podcasters. I am an awful, awful person. This is terrible. All right, I can't. I gotta shut up. By the way, I will tell you that this angst, this moaning and groaning and crying and whining is being brought to you by Bruce. Bruce is the person who went ahead and donated to help this segment of the show. All of that last nonsense you heard about geology shows and miners fucking Bolivians, there you go. That's on Bruce. Thanks for contributing, Bruce. All right. But I had a point. There was somewhere I was going, and I can't remember exactly where. I was talking about something, and then we wound up talking about isolation, and then I was in a doctor's office getting shot. Oh, an internal.
Yes. Internal,
okay.
Not isolation. Internal.
Right.
We didn't call it that, so I didn't.
Did you really call it isolation?
No, we called it in-school suspension.
Oh, okay. Because I was saying, if you called it isolation, who the fuck is your principal? Descartes? I mean, what the hell? That's crazy. Put him in isolation. You went to Torquemada Junior High. What the fuck? Crazy fucking Spanish Inquisition ran your school. Put her in isolation. All right. Man, oh, man. Hi, everybody. Again, no show. Just a lot of talking in circles. And I want to welcome any new listeners who may be hearing me from the appearances I made this week on several podcasts that I'll talk about later. Well, I'll just tell you, I did Never Not Funny this week. I was on Never Not Funny with Jimmy Pardo and Matt Belknap. They were nice enough to have me on their show this week. And if you're sampling this show, please know it's not an example of what you're going to get every week. This is an example of a guy who had a head wound for 2 weeks and doesn't know what the fuck to do with his life. All right, so that's what you're getting this week. A guy who normally, because again, normally I'm done by 7:30. I'm on the phone to the future. I call Mex. I tell him, hey, this is what we did and this is what we talked about. And he goes, hey, what if we do? And he gives me 9 different great ideas. And I go, do all of them. And he goes, I'll pick the best one. And I go, great, click. And I hang up. But today I called him and I'm like, dude, I got nothing. Head in my hands. Dude, I got nothing for you. And he's just like, I'll figure it out. So whatever, go look at your iPod right now or look down on your iTunes in the little bottom left-hand corner. Or if you're on my Facebook page, whatever my profile picture is, or if you're wherever. Just know that was Max going, yeah, I'll figure it out. All right. So I was in internal. There was something about internal that we were going for. Oh, wait a minute. I remember now. All right. So I was in internal for like 5 days, maybe even longer. It might have been an 8-day suspension. I have no idea. They kept me away from Gen Pop for quite a while. I was in solitary, and I was like John Doe. That's where I found myself. I finally, as the rats and the bugs crawled across my legs in the dark, I realized who I was, and I woke up to the realization that it was just me and God, and it was about time to punish people for their fucking sins. So
That's what happened to me up there. Me and John Doe, and then Brad Pitt came to my house, and I took a shot at him. All right, so, God damn, that movie's underrated. I saw it in the theater. It was so great when he gets the box. Oh, what's in the box? What's in the box? And I'm going, that's not what's in the box. It can't be what's in the box. And sure enough, it was in the fucking box. Yeah, God damn it, it was awesome. That's the kind of ending you get like in Europe. Some shitty, like not shitty, like some, you know what? Bolivia. In a Bolivian film, that's where you'd find that ending. Some guy had been fucked in the ass by Chileans for fucking 2 months in the dark would go ahead and write a movie like Seven. That's what he would do. All right. You know, they made Bolivians swear silence on the god they created in the dark. Listen, by all that is holy in the name of Cthulhu, you will never tell what happened to you down here, Bolivian. Or you will pay for it. We will find you. As a group, us, the Chilean miners. In our multicolored bus. Ha ha! With Danny Bonaducci. Ha ha ha! The fucking miners. That's awesome. They got a goddamn crazy bus. All right. Holy shit, that made me laugh. That was because I didn't even plan, folks. I didn't plan that. I planned none of this. This is me talking in circles. I think you heard it. Fuck, I forgot what the fuck I was talking about before. How could you think I created that? How do you think I'm sitting on Bolivian miners in a crazy bus, fucking this guy in the ass? They'll find him. They'll hunt him down with Bonaducci in the bus. Come on. You know Bonaducci takes that gig. What the fuck else is he doing? Oh, I actually worked with him forever on when we did Starface. I wrote on a movie. It was oh my god, what a movie! If I wrote on a movie Danny Bonaducci was in, first of all, I'd be fucking 85 years old. Second of all, no, I wrote on a television show that Danny Bonaducci was in, Starface, and the producers of that show. All right, look, I'm going to say this. Let me preface this all by saying this: Danny Bonaducci was great to me. He was always very nice to me because I had to deal with him all the time. All right. Because we had, as a writing staff, I said we had a great writing staff. It was me and Matt Weinhold and Mike Bailey and Kevin Sesha and Danielle Koenig. And Jeff, the person who created the show, also wrote. It was a lot of fun. But then we would write stuff for Danny, and then they all right, this will sound awful. The producers of the show, they really like me. So whenever they have a project, they always think of me and they want me to be involved. They think I'm funny. They're very cool, and they're quite frankly the only people in this town who think of me for projects, which is great, and I love them for it. They wanted me to fucking Eliza Doolittle, Danny Bonaducci, and teach him how to deliver jokes, which was crazy weird because that's the thing is, you know, me and Sesha and Weinhold and Danielle, I mean, we were all comedians, so we wrote with comedic cadence. All of our bits were, and we wrote evil, mean jokes that then would get, you know, a Gatorade bucket turned over upon them by the network and watered down completely. So we would have to change them and take out whatever meanness there was and make it gentle chiding. And look, I think we can all agree, we all have televisions. Gentle chiding does not work. You need to get the fucking goddamn hatchet out and chop people to bits if you're really going to, because that was what they told us when we did Starface. They said, look, we want the show to be like a Daily Show of celebrity, and we want it to just be snarky and mean and take the fucking balls off. That's what this guy, the guy who created it, envisioned it as. And he pitched it to the network. They loved it. They greenlit it. They said, let's do it. And then they proceeded to cut the balls off of all of our jokes. And I mean, look, but I understand why they did it. I should tell you that because you know, the people at Games Network that were running it I got along with all of them. You know, they were harsh. Look, I want to work again in this town. I'm going to shut the fuck up. All right, so. But suffice it to say, they wanted me, the producers of the show asked me what I would have to do is I had to run scripts with Danny Bonaducci. I would have to go into his office, into his dressing room, I apologize, on days of taping, and we would have to run through bits, and they asked me, because I had to do it in a gentle way, because you can't tell a guy, hey, look, I got to teach you how to talk. I mean, we can't do that. You know, but the real problem was the fact that, you know, when you talk to Danny, you know, I had to sit far away, so I didn't make sure that the sandpaper he was coughing up out of his throat didn't ever hit me in the eye, because that guy, holy shit, seriously, he sounded like he just had a throat full of evil. I mean, it was like, because he smoked forever, and it, you know, he probably at some point was just shooting steroids directly into his Adam's apple. I mean, I don't know how. The guy's put himself through the fucking ringer, and he admits it readily. He jokes about it. He thinks it's fucking hysterical. And he can't believe he's walking, quite frankly, at this point. And I can't either with the lifts in his boots, because that is a small dude. I mean, Danny Bonaducci, and he always wore those boots like those, like, you know, those fucking roach killers, you know what I mean, with the point where he, but whatever. So
how did I even get to Bonaducci? Oh, because him and the miners are in the bus. But I had to actually teach him how to talk. Like I would make him. It was very uncomfortable for me, and I told him right off the bat, I go, look, I'm not here to change you or who you are, but they feel comfortable with me running lines with you, running jokes with you. And he was like, all right, let's do it. All right. I don't even think I could fuck my voice up as much as Danny did. All right, let's do it. Like this, he sounded like Tweaky, the robot from Buck Rogers. That, oh, Jesus. So he had, but naturally, that was his voice from smoking. I mean, he smoked so much, he would breathe hard during tapings. And then we would have to take a break, and he would actually go out and smoke. Like, I mean, he was, look, folks, you've arrived when you have your smoke breaks built into the taping schedule of your television show. But he could not have been nicer to me, and dealt with me in a like I said, I had to run jokes. He's also one of those weird dudes who's got like an idea every 5 minutes. Like he's like, hey, you're real funny. Would you come on the road with me? We should go out on the road and do, you can come out, we could tour together, and you could like middle for me, and then it'd be great. You could write material, and it'd be really fun. And I'm like, okay, yeah. He goes, I get all these clubs, they want me to come out and do stand-up. And it's like, I don't do fucking stand-up. I'll just come out and tell stories, but I'll bring you, and you can do stand-up at the beginning, and then I'll come out and I'll tell stories. But you could also write some stand-up for me. So all of a sudden, it's like, I'm doing all the work at this point. I'm waiting for him to go, yeah, you could come out, and actually, you could dress like me and scrunch down and put your knees and shoes like Dorf, and you could go out and say you're me, and you could do jokes like me. Can you get your voice like this? Hold on, let me punch you in the throat 19 times in a row, and then I'll jam a coat hanger down into your fucking uvula. How does that work? Can you talk like me? Jesus Christ, Danny, calm down. But he would have all these ideas, and eventually the idea would turn out to be like, wouldn't that be great? I'd make a lot of money, and you'd do all the work. Like, it was this weird, hey, what if I invented some windshield wipers? Wouldn't that be great? Danny, I think they already have windshield wipers. No, because my face would be on and be fucking hysterical. Why don't you get on that and invent those and give them to me, and I got a guy I'll talk to. Oh, all right. Sounds great. He was that guy, just an idea man who always had an idea, but the idea would always end up with you doing all the work and him getting all the cash. And good for him, because it's worked up to this fucking point. I don't think the guy has ever stopped working. And if you consider him doing, curls on VH1 while somebody shoots heroin into his balls working, I mean, good for you. If you consider filming him in spandex at a marriage counseling session working, good, I guess so. The guy has never stopped working in his life. But again, could not have been nicer to me. Was really pleasant, and also sat through me teaching him jokes. I mean, dude, that's fucking crazy. How do you sit there with some guy you've never heard of in your life telling you how to, where to hit the button on a punchline? Jesus God. But he readily admitted, he's like, oh, I'll do whatever. He did whatever we asked, he would do. And he's like, I'll do press. Where do you want me to do it? Let's do a press tour. And GSN is just like, your press tour is from this building to go tape 20 feet away in that building. Because we're not about to publicize Starface on a fucking press tour. They did it here in town, but it's not like they're going to send him to small towns. But what's so funny, they missed the boat on that because he's huge in the Midwest. Bonaducci, that's where they love him because he started in fucking Chicago. He was doing that's exactly where he got reinvigorated because he was on the Jonathan Brandmeier radio show telling stories about punching transvestites. And his brand of honesty seemed to play in the Midwest and also his pseudo-celebrity. And in the Midwest, dude, again, anchormen for the local news are, being reported on in gossip columns. That's how jealous they are for celebrities. They're just like, well, John Drury was seen eating a bowl of mush last night. Holy shit. Leave John Drury alone. He's 95 years old. I think he's dead now. John Drury might be dead, which, quite frankly, is not good news for the mush industry in Chicago. I almost couldn't get it out. God damn it. That is terrible news for the mush industry. The death of John Drury. You know what? I picture a meeting of the Mush Council of Chicago, and they've got that graph with the fucking arrow. They've got that. They're like, look, folks, here are our sales, and it's got all this up, and then death of John Drury. Boom! That arrow goes right off the fucking chart, right into the ground. Holy shit! The Mush Council of Chicago has taken it in the ass since the death of fucking John Drury. I'll tell you what, the death of John Drury has fucked the Mush Council in the ass harder than a Bolivian by 95 Chileans in the dark.
Hey, I'm Paul Gilmartin, and you're listening to the podcast most likely to come to life and punch you in the face. The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Don't forget to duck.
Oh, I'm Vic.
And I'm Vinny.
And we're the Screw Brothers. Now, we're known for sexy DVDs and special toys, but now we've indulged our culinary side by opening up the House of Filth cafeteria. We got food like this.
Breaded cock nuggets.
A chili dog. Yeah, it's exactly what you think.
Anal beads and gravy.
A caramel yam bag.
It's a lady parts breakfast. 2 eggs over easy with a taco.
Order up a hash cunt.
It's the Gaping Reuben.
Death by chocolate, dick.
Hey, fans of the 40-year-old boy, mention Mike and get a free scoop of blueberry ass.
We take care of you below the belt and above the belt at the House of Filth cafeteria. Remember, it ain't filthy
Unless it's scroll filthy. And now back to the 40-year-old boy. Already in progress.
Folks, I can tell you that this particular chunk of Bolivian rape and Anchorman death was brought to you by Sarah. Sarah is a listener of the show who sponsored that particular chunk of awfulness. And this is actually Sarah's second time sponsoring. It's her second donation, so that's her second time sponsoring that. And I don't know what her the first thing she sponsored was, but I can tell you she's got to be very proud of what her second donation paid for. Just, Sarah, whenever you think about this show and whenever you think about your contributions to it, always think about the face of that Bolivian miner in agony as a line of Chileans forms behind him again.
Oh my God.
All right. That's what happens. Look, from now on, I think we all understand that the lesson we should be learning is that if you are of a certain nationality and you're working in another country, make sure you've got a buddy. You always need to have a buddy at your job because otherwise you're going to wind up taking the brunt of the Chilean attack. If that Bolivian's got a second Bolivian there, maybe they can do like a Bolivian duo act, or they come up with something to talk these Chileans out of the Bolivian rape day. All right. Terrible. The worst day ever for the Chileans was when the camera finally made it down there. They were just like, no! The Bolivians just like, thank you! All right. So thank you, Sarah, for sponsoring that part of the show. And also, folks, we just took a break, and then I came back and recorded, and then had to take another break because my voice is fucked up from doing the Bonaducci impression. That's not good. It's like it really feels like I got punched in the throat and a hanger jammed into my goddamn uvula. All right. It's just raw, and all right, this is going to look totally weird. All right, we took a break, and then I came back and recorded, and then I had to take a break again because my voice was fucked up, and during that time that we recorded, I had to take a drink. And Lily laughed at me because I took a drink on microphone, but now I have to take another drink. So now she's going to laugh at me again. So I apologize, and I apologize for getting all meta and telling you what you missed, even though you don't even know you missed it. All right. Man, my throat is ganked. All right, so what was I talking about?
Isolation.
Yes, isolation. I was in internal. All right, so I mentioned to you folks that Jean-Louis Berlamont was the cousin Oliver of my high school days. That's a lie. All right, as I think about it now, that's a lie. Jean-Louis, he got thrust into the spotlight for a while, and out of nowhere, it was like all these dudes. It was so weird how these dudes just showed up. Where all of a sudden we had my core group of guys, and then there were people you knew in school, and then you know how school is 4 years, so then as people move in and they move out, you get new people there, and then it's like new cast members again. It's completely new cast members. So we wind up getting like Chucky Williams got cast into my school at some point. And I don't even know why or where he came from. All I know is he and I made a great cake in home ec one day. It was so great. And we were in home ec, and I was in a classroom with, it was me and Eric Jensen, who was the quarterback for the high school football team, and Chucky Williams, who was a wide receiver, and Denise Sabelle, who was a girl that I always crushed on. Dude, I totally dug. For the first 3 years of high school, I had a thing for Denise Sabelle. I always liked her because she was kind of like nerdy. She wasn't part of the mainstream group, but I always thought she was really cute. There was something about her that did it for me. I don't know why. But then senior year, she made cheerleading, and all of a sudden she became cool. Like, or no, was that junior year? It might have been. That was junior year. Like the first 2 years I had a thing for her, and then junior year she made cheerleading, and then she was like a snob. Like all of a sudden she went from being like uncool to cool, and she started dating an upperclassman, and then she treated me like shit. We were like friends for the first 2 years, and all of a sudden Zabelle's coming down on me. It's like, dude, really? You're turning on me? All right. Nobody cares. Why did I bring up Denise Zabelle? Because there was because she was in my home ec, and Mike Casey, who I've mentioned before. Mike Casey fought Mar Allen in a battle that took forever, and it was just the greatest fight of all time. And then we made a cake one day. We just with our home ec, we had to make. First of all, folks, I don't know why 5 people need to make a goddamn cake. We're not a cake boss or whatever the fuck. We're making a home ec cake. But that was our lab. That was the 5 of us. We gravitated together and we made a cake. 4 dudes and Denise. And I think we all talked about football while Denise made the cake. But we contributed. I put in baking soda, whatever the fuck I did, and it was a great cake. God damn, it was a good cake. All right. But my point is, Chucky Williams was I didn't know Chucky at all, and all of a sudden he's in my home ec lab. It's like, oh, all right, hi Chucky, we're friends. So you had that in high school where people would just kind of drift in and out. There was always the core group, but then there'd be this weird, like second or third guy who showed up. So I'm an internal, and is this senior year or junior year? I think it's senior year, and I'm an internal for like 8 days, and I went not even talking to friends. I go, I'm going home, whatever. I get out of internal, and what happened was when you would show up at the school in the daytime, there was a common area. So it was like it was the cafeteria, the lunchroom, and everybody would gather there before the first bell, and then everyone would go to their classrooms. So I show up in the common area, and everybody's like, Schmidt, fuck, because I'd been in prison forever, and I could never go down to the common area because I had to go right to internal, whatever. So I show up, and they're like, we're talking, and everybody's talking, and they start mentioning this. I keep hearing one name over and over, and it's a name I don't recognize. But they're all talking about the weekend and what they did and what happened, and they keep mentioning one name over and over. They keep saying the name Woody. And I don't know Woody. I mean, which is really odd because, I mean, yeah, like I said, I know everybody, and I know my friends, and I know the group and the extended group even. And they're talking about Woody, and finally I go, who's Woody? And all of my friends start laughing like crazy, falling out like, oh, fuck. Schmidt doesn't know who Woody is, ah, ha, ha. And they're like, I mean, like hitting the table laughing. They think it's so ridiculously funny. And so now I don't know what the fuck's going on. So now I think it's like one of my friends playing a joke. Like he must be, there's some weird thing, or maybe it's a code name for a new drug. I don't know what the fuck is happening. And they're like, oh, fuck, Schmidt, you got to meet Woody. You have to meet Woody. It's going to be amazing. And I'm like, who's Woody? And they're like, he's a new kid. You didn't meet Woody? And they're like, no. And they go, oh my God, you got to meet him. And I'm like, all right. So we're waiting in the common area, and all of a sudden I hear Woody. My friends yell Woody, and Woody walks up and approaches the table. I turn around, and folks, I won't lie to you. This is absolutely true. I turned around, and I saw him, and I went, oh, come on. Right in his face. Because I thought it was such a prank. I thought there was no way it was real. I thought it was a joke. I thought they had hired like a sophomore to dress up like this. There was no way this was real. But it was real. I won't give Woody's real name. All right. But we all called him Woody. And he walked up, and he was wearing, like, those polyester pants you have to buy to work at Subway? Like those brown kind of polyester? He was wearing those pulled up high with an evident belt, like with a really big belt buckle. They were Floods, and he had dark socks on with white tennis shoes. He had a white button shirt that was tucked into his pulled up pants, buttoned all the way to the top. He actually had a pocket protector in his pocket. Okay, like a one of those weird, and I think it was from like a local insurance company. It had that silver writing, when you get a pen with writing on it. He had a pocket protector with writing on the outside of it, and then his face. I'm not joking. The thickest glasses you've ever seen, like the craziest, blackest, horniest rims of all time. Seriously, it looks like Buddy Holly's glasses had leaped off the plane before the crash and been working out in the ensuing years until Woody found them and put them on his face. This bulked up, tricked out, super Holly glasses. And they were, I don't know how they stayed on his face with all of the oil that was evident on his face, but he had like a big nose. It was kind of crooked. He had those huge glasses on there, and he had a Braille face. It wasn't even like he had a bad complexion or zits. It looked like he shaved with a cheese grater, like that kind of fucking crazy, zitty, horrible, oily face. He looked like the drawing of the X-ray specs guy, but with a horrible skin. He looked like the guy who gets beaten up in the muscle ad and kicked to the side and then goes and learns how to work out. It was the weirdest central casting. He was absolutely the Cousin Oliver of my senior year because they were like, look, these guys are getting stale. That's what they said about us. They're like, they're going to the back roads. They're hanging out at the Schnacky's house. They're pouring drinks in the house plants. They're not doing anything that's productive. They're yelling Q at one another. This is not good. That's something that we actually did. They're calling each other dog. This is horrible, folks. This is true. The guys I went to school with, we all became dog. Like that. For some reason, it became like Mex dog, Schmidt dog, Mills, Jeff, Mills dog, Denny dog. That was my buddy Dennis. Everybody had a nickname. Everybody had dog placed on their name. We all just decided that was the way to go. And we started saying Q, which was short for fuck you. So we couldn't say fuck you to one another. Again, folks, we're 17 years old. Give us a break. I wasn't even, how old was I? I was 15 at the time. 82. No, yeah, I was about 6. I was 16. But it would just be like, Q, Mex dog. Like that awful. That's how, dude, it's embarrassing to even talk about, but that's what happened. And we thought we were so fucking cool. Oh my God, we thought we were so great. And you look back at it and you're like, honestly, in the context of the school, we were the shit. I mean, we were absolutely the group, because but we're awful. I mean, we're awful people. Terrible, terrible as a group. Terrible en masse. And it's Jimmy O and me and Dennis and Ock and I mean all of those guys I've told you about in previous stories. We kind of ran the school senior year. My first senior year. But obviously we had become stagnant. So the producers of my high school decided, well, we've got to cast a new guy in there. We need a new foil. And that meant Woody came to town. I'm not even joking. I turned and looked at him and I went, oh, come on. Like, I thought it was a goof. I thought it was a complete joke. But they were like, Woody! And he sat down at the table, and my friends treated him like he was one of us. But then they would dump his books on the ground and laugh, and he would just be like, oh, come on, guys, and he'd like pick it up. Like he thought he was being accepted, like that kind of thing. And I will say this, and I can say this with a completely clear conscience. All right, I'm a fucking dick. All right, we all know that. I was a terrible guy back then. I would say rude shit to people. I was mean. I was that guy. I never, ever picked on Woody. Never. Because it would be like stomping on a puppy. Like it was like that. I couldn't bring myself to even participate in the reindeer games of being mean to him because he was so, I mean, I didn't feel bad for him. Honestly, I was not fully formed enough as a human being to feel bad for Woody. I just felt it wasn't even worth my time. Like, I mean, what the fuck? It's like catching fish with dynamite. You know what I mean? Fuck that. All the challenges out of it. You throw a stick of dynamite into the river, yeah, you're going to catch about 80 fish, but so fucking what? Your day's over. I can't do that to fucking Woody. But he became part of the group. He became like a mascot guy, and he started showing up at our parties and shit like that. Where, dude, all right, one time, oh Jesus, Woody shows up. This is the truth. Woody shows up at Mike Casey's house. Mike Casey had a party. All right, and Mike Casey never had parties. It was like we would always either Shanacky's house, we were at my buddy Brian's house. There were kind of headquarters. There were headquarters for parties where we would always wind up. But Mike Casey had one because his parents were gone. So he's like, dude, we're having a party. So we show up at the party. And there's drinking ensuing. There's a lot of Def Leppard going on, folks, because that happened my senior year. If you didn't hear Pyromania at every goddamn party 3 times, then you were not at a Q party, I'll tell you that. You were not at a Schmidt dog Q party. That wasn't happening. By the way, my buddy Jeff, his mom still calls me Schmidt dog. I'm a 43-year-old man. I am a 43-year-old man. I will go home to Chicago. I will go to my buddy Jeff's house. I will see his parents, and his mom will go, hey, Schmidt dog. It's fucking hysterical. Still calls me it. Nobody else gets it. Denny dog doesn't get it. None of us. But I'm still Schmidt dog, to the point where Karen calls me Schmidt dog. Karen will go, because when she heard I can't say her last name, but when she heard Jeff's mom say that to me, Karen just made this face, and I had to give her the speech that I just gave you folks about how we are all dog food at one point. So Karen will go, Schmidt dog, what's happening? You know. So I've got that going for me, folks. Hey, Schmidt dog. All right, so why did I tail off? Oh, so we're at Mike Casey's house. And we're having a crazy party. Like I think Glenn Pfeiffer's there, and by the way, Glenn Pfeiffer had a mom we all wanted to bang. All right, who cares? No one cares. I have nothing, folks. I'm just trying to paint a picture of Woody for you. So we're at the party. Woody shows up, and we would all be in school, and then we'd go home and you'd change and you'd go out. Woody shows up in his school outfit, like he's still got a buttoned-up shirt and pocket protector. I'm not even joking. Like to the point where now when I think about it and I look back, he might have been doing an experiment, like a social experiment. Like he may have filmed it. He may have put together an amazing documentary that's like a huge hit in Bolivia. I have no idea what this guy's done. He could be huge in Bolivia. But yeah, he should. All right, I can't. There's a ton of Woody to cover, but I'm going to give you a slice of Woody today. Woody at Mike Casey's house. He shows up at the party, and so we decide we're going to play. They're playing quarters upstairs, but there's a new rule. Okay. If you make quarters, the new rule is, when you play quarters, folks, as you know, you bang a quarter and it hops into a beer cup and you make somebody drink. Okay. Well, we decide that we're playing Woody quarters. And you can bang a quarter and get it into the glass, and everybody makes Woody drink. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter. You have to make Woody drink. So we've decided, and Woody is sitting right there, and he's laughing and having a great time. And by the way, quarters, who invented quarters? Like that had to be some bored gangsters during Prohibition just inventing quarters, right? Because we always see those things from the 20s, and the gangsters like flipping a quarter. He had to like flip it once, and he missed it, and it bounced off the table into a cup of beer, and they all fucking made eye contact with Al Capone. That had to happen, right? And they went boom, quarters. And then there's always that one person who then made, like, we had a girl named Amy who she would drop the quarter off her nose. Did you ever get that? You ever play with that person? They would literally drop the quarter, and she made it like every time. She was like amazing. Because there's always an athlete who transcends the competition and brings it to another level. Someone who's not happy with the status quo. She was like shooting underarm free throws, basically. She was like Rick Barry, that underhand free throw shot. She was the Michael Jordan of quarters, Amy. All right, so there's always somebody who brings it to another level. So we're playing Woody quarters, and we're making Woody drink, and he's laughing and having a great time, and he's but he's drinking every time. But he's part of the group, so he's happy to be part of the group. So inevitably, of course, Woody is he's like, oh, I don't, he doesn't feel so good, and we're like, come on, Woody, just drink. So we make him drink again. We bang in a quarter, and we're also cheating too. Like we're like, hey, look over there, and oh, it's in, and making him drink. Terrible. Basically, we're just getting Woody fucked up. So then Woody gets sick, of course, and which is hilarious to us because we think it's fine. And we're waiting for him to just loosen up and unbutton a top button. We just want him to, but he gets sick and he throws up. So Woody's sick. So as he throws up, he gets some throw up on his shirt. On his white shirt. And we're like, oh, Woody, dude, that's not cool. Oh, you got to take your shirt off, man. We got to clean it. And he's like, oh, no, don't. And we're like, no, come on. So so we're going to clean his shirt for him under the guise of, taking his shirt off. So we take his shirt off, and he's got, a T-shirt underneath it, like a white T-shirt. And he's got his slacks or whatever. And so then we're like, oh, Woody, come on, you can't. You know what? If we're gonna clean your shirt, we got to clean your pants, Woody. We got to take. And he's like, no, come on, no. We're like, come on, Woody. And so we of course fucking grab his pants, take his pants. It's a party, and now Woody is in his underwear and his T-shirt, and he's very disappointed. He's like, oh no, I can't. What? And we're like, come on out, Woody. He's wearing tighty whities and a fucking T-shirt. So I don't know who comes up with this idea. I think it's Jim Harbin at this point. Danny and Jimmy and Sam were there, and we decided we take Woody outside because it's like, oh, dude, we can get some fresh air. It's like, and he's like, oh, come on, no, I can't. And we're like, come on, let's get some fresh air. So we take Woody outside. Of course, he's still he's in dark socks and shoes and white shoes, and then he's in underwears and T-shirt. This is a hard story to tell. All right, so. And by the way, this does not end with him getting raped by 19 Chileans, although it really should have. But we take Woody outside, and then all right, I will tell you there's a basement in this house, a furnished basement, and then there's an upstairs, and you can go out the garage as well. There's people partying in the garage too. So we take Woody out through the garage, and we take him outside to get some air in the driveway, and everybody's like, why the fuck is Woody wearing no clothes? Shut up, who cares? Let's take Woody outside. So we take Woody outside, and he's like drunk, and he's kind of sick, and he doesn't know where he's at. And he's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. We're like, Woody, are you okay? And he's like, I don't know. We go, are you going to throw up again? And he's like, oh man, I can't, I might throw up again. And we're like, all right, well, that's why we brought you outside, because if you're going to throw up again, you know, you got to be outside. And I should tell you, I'm just there watching it. I'm not involved in this. I'm not the guy who's taking his clothes off. I didn't do any, because again, to me, picking on him was ludicrous. It was just foolish. It was like swatting a fly. Leave him alone. But that doesn't mean I can't enjoy the hell out of my friends doing it. So I'm watching this. They bring him outside, and they're telling him, they go, oh, this is why we brought you outside, because we don't want you, if you're going to get sick. And he's like, well, I don't know. And they're like, do you think you're going to throw up? And he goes, I think I'm going to throw up. And they go, well, then you should stay outside if you're going to throw up. And he's like, no, I can't. I can't stay outside. And they're like, no, it's okay, because you can't throw up in the house. You already threw up in there and you made a mess. And he's like, well, but why? And they're like, you know what? We're going to leave you out here. You should stay out here. And he's like, no, I don't want to stay out here. And they go, no, it's best. And he goes, well, all right, if you think it's best. And then Jim comes out of the garage with rope. No! And they're like, Woody, we need to make sure you're going to stay out here because you've been drinking, so we don't know if you're going to come back inside. And he's like, well, I can't. My clothes are in there. And they're like, relax, it's okay. And we're just going to tie you to the tree. We're going to tie you to the tree in the yard. And then, you know, we're going to be inside, but we want to make sure that you don't get sick in the house. And he's like, well, do you think you really should? And we're like, yes, we really think that we should tie you up out here. So they start, and they tie Woody to the tree in the yard. And they're tying him up, not mean, they're not garroting him, they're not choking him, but it's like, almost like cowboys and Indians. They're like, ooh, then Woody's their prisoner. So they tie him to the tree outside. And he's in his underwear and his T-shirt and his shoes and socks. And it's, it's November, I think. It's kind of cold or whatever. So I go in the house, and I'm just like, because I can't, at that point, once they start tying Woody to the tree, I can't be a party to this anymore. So I go back in the house. I can't even remember if Mex was at this party. I don't know. If he was, I'm going to hear about it, because he's going to either I love something out or whatever. Because it's like, I will be honest, I've kind of blocked some of this shit out of my head because it was just, you think about it, you're like, oh, this is awful. But anyway, so they got Woody in the yard, but that's harmless. They're going to let him go. Everything's going to be fine. He's going to leave. So I go back in the house, and I went up hanging out with Rick Shaver and I think Greg Pager are in there. More last names, idiot. But I walk in, and they immediately go, "Where's Woody?" So I go, "Oh, he's outside. He threw up." And they're like, "Oh, dude, he threw up?" And I go, "Yeah. We were playing quarters and things got out of hand, and Woody threw up." So I'm explaining that to them, and time goes by. We're hanging out. Def Leppard is raging. I think Pyromania plays for like the 15th time, and I go upstairs, and there's more quarters going on. There's people upstairs, and all of a sudden I hear, "What is this?" really loudly. Okay, and I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure out what's happening. All of a sudden I look, and I see coming up the stairs, I see someone go, "Who are you?" It's Mike Casey's dad. There's a house full of us drinking literally upstairs, downstairs, garage. And now it's like 11:30 at night, and I just see his dad come walking up the stairs. First I heard, "What is this?" And I hear, "Who are you? Get the fuck out of my house!" And he's wheeling, and I see his mom. They're coming up the stairs. Now, they came in through the garage. Obviously, they pulled up in the driveway, so they were outside. They see people partying in their garage. They walk in through the garage like, "Who are you?" And I kind of look out the picture window, and all I see is like Vietnam. I just see shadows moving in the night, and everybody fucking runs. They start running out the back door. They start running out the front door. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a fat dude. I'm not running anywhere, because if I run down the stairs, I'm going to fucking kill both of them as they're coming up the stairs. So I'm just sitting there, and they know me because I've been to their house. And the dad is just raging. He's like, get out, everybody out. What are you doing in the house? And Mrs. Casey comes up the stairs, and she just looks over and makes eye contact with me. And I go, "Hello, Mrs. Casey." And she just kind of shakes her head, and the dad is still screaming, and he's trying to grab people. And I just got up and I left. And so I walk out the front door. I'm not going to run. They've seen me. I'm not going to get busted. So I go walking outside. I just see people running out of the garage. I see people running up the street, and you just see headlights getting turned on and started, and cars driving, and all this craziness. And it's dark. And as my eyes adjust to the dark, I see lights and I see people running. And I got to, I can walk home from Mike's if I want, but I want to try to get a ride. So I yell. Who did I fucking yell for? Was it Jeff? I yelled somebody's name to get a ride just because everybody's scattering at that point. And as my eyes adjust to the dark, I look and I see Woody tied to the tree. And people just running and leaving, just leaving him there. And I see, and I all of a sudden, I believe it's Jeff. I can't be sure, but a car pulls up and they go, "Mike, let's go." And I go walking down the stairs, and Woody is tied to the tree, and all I got to do is untie the guy, right? That's all I got to do. I just got to untie him, and then he can go inside and get his clothes from Mrs. Casey and go home. But instead, I walked right past him. And I think he was crying. I don't know. I don't remember. He was kind of like sad. Like, I mean, I didn't really make eye contact, but I heard noise, but I didn't want to confirm it. But I got in my buddy's car and we left. We all left, and left him tied to the tree. Drove off. This is a Friday night. Just gone. You see, you look in the mirror, you just see him just slumped, like tied to a tree in his underwear. We drive off. And the next day is Saturday, and I get up and I call my friends. We figure out what we're going to do that night. So I think we wound up at Brian's house, and we just all wind up talking, and we're just like, man, I can't believe the Casey's came home last night. That was insane, and recounting the night, and everyone's like, hey, whatever happened to Woody? And I go, you guys have no idea what happened to Woody? And they're like, no. And I go, you left him tied to that fucking tree. And they look and they go, well, how do you know? And I go, well, because when I left, he was still tied to the tree. I tried to be indignant about it, but I couldn't be. Like, I had to admit it. It was funny to me. He was still tied to the goddamn tree. And so we all, that night, all we could talk about is the fact that he was tied to the goddamn tree, and what the fuck happened to him was hilarious. And, the weekend passes. We go to school Monday, and we're in the common area. And we're sitting at the table because we always sat in the middle of the lunchroom. We had this one spot where I always sat. And as we're sitting there, Woody comes walking in, same clothes, like, same pants, same white shirt. It might have been a different white shirt because there's no puke on it, but I'm just saying, same outfit. He wore the same outfit every day, pocket protector, glasses. And he comes walking in, and he had a slumped way of walking, like he was very, kind of greasy haired. He just looked crazy. And he comes walking up to the table. Everybody goes, Woody! And he walks up and he sits down, and everybody's like, oh my God, what happened to you Friday, man? At the party, it was crazy. And he goes, you guys left. And we were like, yeah, well, I mean, his parents came home. We had to get out of there. And he goes, you guys left me tied to the tree. And we were like, oh, man, it was so crazy. We totally forgot. Like, we all ran out. Our parents came home, and we didn't know what to do. Sorry about that. And he goes, it was so great. And he proceeds to act like it was the best time of his life. Like, he wanted so badly to fit in with us and to be. He pretended like he was so happy that had happened. He goes, it was so great. And we died. We fucking just crack up. We go, what do you mean it was great? He goes, oh, eventually the parents had to come out and they untied me. And then they were wondering why I didn't have any clothes on. And so then he had to go in and I had to find my clothes in their house. So like he's there with the parents and Mike. Like, poor Mike Casey's getting chewed out while Woody looks around for his belt. And the Caseys are like, are you okay, son, or whatever? And they drove him home. The Caseys drove him home. Like, they were so mad their house is ruined, but even they recognized, how pathetic it was that Woody is tied to a tree in their yard and everybody fucking left him. So they took pity on him. They untied him. The parents, whose house it was, brought him in to find his clothes and then drove him home. He's telling it like it's the greatest story ever. Oh, it was so great. You guys, like, you left and I couldn't believe you left, but then they came out and they were nice to me and they untied me and then I went in the house and I found my clothes and I found my shirt and then they drove me home. It was great. I got in so much trouble because I was out past curfew. And I mean, at that point, it was like we kind of realized, we're all laughing and we think it's hilarious that he's relating to us that it was great. But I mean, you knew what he was doing. I mean, he's just putting up, especially now I know what he was doing. Back then it was just fucking hysterical. But now you just realize he's just putting up complete deflector shields. Like he was making it sound like, oh, wasn't it great that you guys fucking ruined my night or it was just, he wanted so desperately to fit in. And we were more than willing to accommodate him by being jagoffs constantly. I don't know, man. And then we had our reunions. We had our 10-year reunion. I went to the 10-year, and his name tag was sitting on the desk. I walked in and I saw it. I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be awkward. But then by the end of the night, it was still on the desk. He didn't come to the 20th either. And then they had a 25th. It was funny. I didn't get to go to the 25th. They had just like a informal gathering. I talked to Mex. He went. He was informing me. He's telling me, he's like, this happened, that happened. And near the end of the night, Dennis, who runs it, Mex sees him. He's off talking to a guy. He's squaring up for the bar, obviously. So he's talking to one guy by the door, and he's demonstrative, hashing it out, paying the guy, figuring out what he's going to do. Mex sees him, and Mex is going to go over, and then he goes, I'll wait till it's over. And Dennis finishes. He comes over, and Mex goes, is that the guy who ran? Who's that? And Dennis goes, that was Woody. And Mex goes, what? And he goes, that was Woody. He goes, he says his full name. He goes, he was here for the 25th. And Mex is like, where is he now? And he goes, well, he left. And Mex is like, is he going to come back in with a rifle? I mean, what the fuck is going to happen here? And Dennis was like, no, he just came and he wanted to, and so I said to Mex, I go, well, what did he look like? What was he wearing? What was he doing? What was it? And Mex is just like, I can't even, because he didn't really take that much notice of him. He was just there. And, but even then he was on the periphery of it, and he didn't become, he didn't come in and say, hi, it's me. But yeah, he exists. He lives. He still lives. The bottom line is Woody lives. And I don't know of what that means for the 30th. I don't know what kind of diabolical plot this guy's planning. I mean, the fact that he didn't come to the 10th and the 20th, that he came to the informal 25th, I think he was just waiting to see. He wanted to come to the 25th to see who was still alive. So he knows who's on his list to kill at the 30th. So just know that, folks. That in fucking 2014, Woody's got a bullet with my name on it. Even though I didn't pick on him, I'll be that guy. I'll be the guy who tries to negotiate and goes, Woody, no, come on, I never did anything. He's gonna go, you could have untied me. The fucking spray down. I'm gonna wind up in a pool of my own sadness, courtesy of Woody. 30 years later. You guys can get me at Mike and MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. Be my friend there. You can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. Oh, and I should say this. That segment of High School Horror was brought to you by Emily. Emily, who is a listener to the show, that was her second segment that she sponsored on the show. So, Emily, I want to thank you. And please know that your second donation went towards sponsoring the story of when I kept Woody tied to a tree and could have saved him. Thanks, Emily. Again, you guys can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be her friend on Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. Or you can follow her corporate entity at Twitter.com/MNTs. That's a corporate entity. That's right. It's incorporated and everything. And if you want to send her a personal note and cheer her up, because as she sits here, her knees are screwed up and her legs are unshaved, go ahead and send her a note at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-year-old boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine at 10 o'clock every Monday. Is it 3 clubs or 3 of clubs?
It's 3 clubs.
Yeah, it's the 3 clubs, right?
Yes.
I say it right all the time. And the proprietor of that show, the longest-running burlesque show in Los Angeles, the most successful, with the hottest ladies and the best producer, is our friend Lily Von Strupp. Lily,
Yes.
hey, who's going to be there this Monday?
Well, Mike Dog.
Oh, see, how'd you even mess that up? It's Schmidt Dog.
Because I just thought it was.
Mike Dog. See, that makes no sense. Oh, the Max Dog is going to be very upset with you. All right, so.
Okay, Schmidt Dog.
Yes.
This Monday is a Los Angeles first.
All right.
We're having Meat Fest, an all-boylesque show.
So it's all dudes stripping?
Yes! Yes! It's man boob after man boob. Well, no, really, there's no man boob.
Yeah, they don't have any man boobs. Don't say that. No one's going to come to this show at all.
It's actually 11 male performers, 10 acts. Yeah!
11 men, 10 acts,
Yeah!
22 nipples,
22 balls.
21. 21 balls. So, all right. So that's all dudes on Monday at the Monday Night Teas, folks. That's the true definition of a tease, as in, like, you come in and go, I'm going to see some hot ladies. I don't think so. You know what they call this? A bait and tackle and switch. So
I get it.
you guys are getting bait and tackle and switch if you come out to the 3 clubs and see a bunch of dudes giving you the meat spin right in your face. All right. Well, that's exciting.
It is. It's almost.
It sounds great. It sounds like something that's going to be fantastic. It sounds like something I would never attend. All right.
I actually have reservations for 2 bachelorette parties and a birthday party already. It's going to be wall-to-wall titties looking at wall-to-wall boys.
See, I just have reservations. You have reservations for all these parties. I solely have reservations. I got to go straight up Cochise on this
But
and
it
have.
took like 7 years to get an all-boylesque show together.
Well, it took that long for you to find 10
To find
acts.
all
Sure.
the guys that were available for it. So we're really excited. It's
Well,
been
good. Good for you. It's you're always looking for unique and novel things to do, and this is certainly that.
Yes.
All right, but I will not be there. So, folks, go out to the Monday Night Teas and check out. And also, if you want to find out any information about the Monday Night Teas, follow them at twitter.com/MNTees. Is there a secret word this week?
There is not.
Nothing like, mine shaft or
No,
anything like that?
Bolivian Rape Day.
All right, there you go. Bolivian Rape Day. That'll be it. Boy, that should be the name of the show, but it probably won't be. All right.
I don't think you'd want rape in the title of our show.
Well, look, nobody listens anyway. Nobody cares. This was an incomplete show. We didn't look when you don't know what you're going to talk about. Inevitably, you're going to wind up with Bolivian Rape Day. That's what happens. If you come in cold, if you come in with no agenda whatsoever and a completely empty blank slate, you're going to get around to Bolivian Rape Day. It happens to the best of us. So please go to the Monday Night Teas, folks, every Monday night. Go ahead and check it out. I want to remind you, folks, that if you go to Facebook, like I said, you become Lily's friend, you become my friend. You can also go and find the Westside 86 Jokers page. It's the Mike Schmidt Fan Club page. Go ahead and join that. As I yawn in the middle of the fan club page. I'm sorry. Again, folks, an incomplete show. So go to the Westside 86 Jokers page. That's on Facebook. Go ahead and join that page. Also on Facebook, you can find the Bring Mike Schmidt to Branson, Missouri / the Ozarks. You can find the Bring Mike Schmidt to Portland page, find the Bring Mike Schmidt to Phoenix page, and Bring the Mike Schmidt to Austin, Texas page. Go ahead and sign up for those, support those. I guess we're talking in Portland. We've got theaters picked out. I'm not sure. I haven't heard from Chris, but he's talking. He's still, playing phone tag with people up there because God forbid people want to make money and act immediately and say, yes, why don't we get this guy up here? No, it's got to turn into what? I didn't get your message for a week because I'm very busy making a hemp suit, whatever they do in Portland. I don't know.
That's what they do.
Sure, they make a hemp suit and they eat voodoo donuts. So guys, if you want me to come to those cities, go ahead and sign up on those pages and bring me out to your city, and that would be great. Especially Austin, especially all of them. But I mean, when I played Austin, I had a great time. I did Cap City out there with Pardo, and then we wound up doing I did the Velveeta Room. I went with Brandon Walsh and had a great time. It was good. It was really fun. The Velveeta Room's like a famous open mic and stuff in Austin. It was great. I had a great time. So I would love to come back to your town. So go sign up and bring me there, folks. Also want to remind you folks about Rob Matsushita, our good friend who did the trailer for the show with Buried as a theme. I'm going to re-put it on my Facebook page. You can also go to Funny or Die and vote for Funny or Die. I would prefer you vote Funny, but you can do whatever you want. Again, I don't try to tell you how to live your life. But Rob Matsushita is also available at ClaymorePictures.net. He's got the web series Chapel. Go ahead and check out all of Rob Matsushita's great work online, and especially the trailers for the 40-Year-Old Boy Show, which is great. I'm glad he goes ahead and does those. Want to remind you folks that, I will tell you this, I did the Never Not Funny podcast. I think I mentioned it earlier in the show tonight, but Matt Belknap and Jimmy Pardo were kind enough to ask me to go ahead and do the Never Not Funny podcast this week, so I went ahead and recorded. I actually recorded it 2 weeks ago, I won't lie to you folks, but they had a hitch in their giddy up. They had a rip in their space-time continuum, and they had to, because they had to accommodate John Hamm, who wound up having to be recorded at a certain time, and that's a very famous and good-looking man, and I don't mind getting bumped for him. I wouldn't mind getting bumped by him, quite frankly. You know what, John Hamm, make me your Bolivian. Give me a call. I can do that. Let's go. We can go spelunking in a cave, and then hopefully 700,000 tons of rock fall upon us. And then every Friday is I'll be a Bolivian day for John Hamm. So that'll be fine. All right. What else did I have to tell you folks about? What other plugs were there? There's other plugs, right? Is there something else special? I know I packed up because I got to get out of here. I'm going to play poker with people I haven't talked to in days and days. Reminding people about I did Paul Goebel's show. I think I told you folks about that. Show 213. Burlesque Bears. I always tell you about burlesquebears.com. Go ahead and pick out some burlesque bears that you want. Lily Hand makes those, and she's doing nothing these days but sitting on a couch waiting to watch guys spin their cocks in her face on Monday. So go ahead and get tied up with the burlesquebears.com. Pick one out, and Lily will hand make it for you. Also, remember realworldfit.com if you need a trainer. I haven't been able to see Sean in a while because I had something that I can't talk about, as I've mentioned, but go to twitter.com/realworldfit and or twitter.com/realworldfit.com, I think. I'm not sure, but go to realworldfit.com. They'll tell you where. Sean Richardson is the trainer. He did a great job helping me out. I appreciated it. So go ahead and follow Sean. And if you need a trailer? If you need a trailer with a trainer, again, folks, an incomplete show. I didn't know what I was going to. I'm all over the joint today, so I apologize. I'll tell you this. I was gonna, it's funny. I was gonna make this a segment, but I was like, I didn't think I had enough of a segment, so I'll make it the ramp out or whatever. Did you see the guy who streaked for Obama? Did you see that story? There's a guy. All right, there's a guy who runs like a website, a billionaire. And he has a website which I will not say for a reason, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But he said that if anybody could streak within eyeshot of President Obama, completely naked, with the name of the website on his chest, he would give them $1 million. $1 million. That's fuck you rich.
Yeah, it is.
When you can just say, hey, by the way, if you go play a prank, some sort of weird jackass prank, I'll give you $1 million. So he mentions this. Now, I will also say this, folks. I guess he said this back in August. I don't know why he didn't make it a larger announcement, because I didn't fucking hear about it until this week. If I hear about it in August, I'm boylessing the shit out of Barack wherever the fuck he is. I don't care. I'm serious. I will hang glide in, fucking everything hanging. I will helicopter the shit out of the president for $1 million. I don't care. If I knew about it, I would have done it. I'm not even lying. I would have been like, yeah, fuck, I could do that. Sure, why not? $1 million? Who doesn't? So he says this in August on some nondescript, on his website or whatever. So some guy plans to do it. Over the weekend, he does it. In Philadelphia, President Obama's there giving a speech. This dude gets naked with the words, the name of the website written on his chest 6 times, and runs around screaming the name of the website, and then gets tackled by fucking Secret Service. And they don't tase him, but he's naked, and they fucking, flopping around. They tackle him. And it turns out this guy is like a 24-year-old father of 3, I think is what I read. And he was helped by Zolar, this guy who's a producer for Howard Stern, or he does stuff for Howard Stern. So I guess this guy promised Zolar $25,000. So this guy spent $1,300 of his own money to get to Philadelphia and get there and wind up there. And he streaks and he does all of this. And I guess there were a bunch of conditions, like you had to say the name of the place 6 times, and you had to have the name written on you 6 times. I don't know why. The guy made rules. But it's $1 million, whatever. So he streaks in front of the president and films it. He films it from being at like Union Station in Philly or wherever the fuck he is at the train station, films the whole day, films him going down there, and then films him getting naked and running, and films the whole thing. Yeah. And Now the guy won't pay him. The guy is saying, oh, I'm waiting to see from the video if he did all of the conditions, if he said it 6 times before they tackled him and all this. And everybody's like, well, dude, you're just being a dick. Like you said you would do it. You can't make a promise like that and say you're serious. Because he said, I'm absolutely serious about this. And now you're going back on it. So now this is what this fucking dick is doing to try to get out of this. Today, he said he's waiting to get confirmation from the White House that the president saw this guy while he was doing the speech. Because that's part of the condition, is that the president had to have seen him doing this. Dude, we got to storm this fucking guy's castle and just take all of his money, right? You can't just fucking tell a guy to get naked and run around with your website on, and then he does it and films it, and then you're not going to give him the fucking money? Are you shitting me with this? We have to form a posse and storm this guy's castle with torches and take all this guy's fucking money. He doesn't deserve to be a fucking billionaire at this point. That's retarded. You can't do that. You can't make this promise and then renege on it. The whole point of being like a crazy billionaire with a white cat in your lap and petting it and going, "Mwah," is then you've got to pay off in the end. Otherwise, you're just a fucking poser, dude. You can't do that. Because if he pays, if he doesn't even think about it, he just gives the guy the $1 million, then he's validated. Look at all the fucking promo and press this website has gotten out of it. Dude, you've gotten $1 million worth of press out of it already. You need to pay this fucking guy or we're coming after you. That's it. This is America, goddammit. This is America. This is the very same country that will strip naked with your website on it and run around in front of the president is the same country that will fucking turn on you and tackle your ass and take all your fucking money until you're naked in the street with the name of your website on your goddamn chest, running around in circles on your own just to fucking get away from us. And then you know what we'll do? We'll call the president to see if he saw you running away from us, whether or not we should fucking kick the shit out of you. You got to be joking that you don't pay this motherfucker. Are you serious? Pay this guy. Honestly, I don't give a fuck if you got a pool with sharks and laser beams. I don't give a fuck what you're doing, Dr. fucking Evil, this modern day nonsense. You cough up the money for this guy. He deserves it. He needs to get fucking paid. Seriously. You can't just leave a guy tied to a tree, all right? You can't just take a guy out and tie him to a tree and fucking leave him there. You got to untie that guy at some point, friend. So do it. Do the honorable thing. Do the honest thing. If you offer $1 million for a guy to flop his cock out in front of the president and he does it, goddamn it, pay that guy. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi,